Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Bad Comic Review stream. How's everybody out there doing in chat land? Let's see who's out here. We got Evil One. How you doing, man? Hey, John. Looks like it's just Evil One and John. Good morning, guys. What an exciting day, huh? Well, I was bored, so I thought I'll do a stream. Only posted 200 odd times, and even no reason. Oh, that sucks. Hey, nobody. How you doing? Well, while everybody's filtering in, let's do our usual death count. We got quite a few this time, because it's been a little while since I did one of these. All right. Yahoo gives us David Warner, British actor known for The Omen and Tron, dies at 80. Let's not forget that he was the bad guy. He was evil in Time Bandits. I think that's more important than The Omen. But he was awesome in Tron. Died of cancer-related illness. His family told the BBC over the past 18 months he approached his diagnosis with the characteristic grace and dignity. Yeah, it's kind of hard not to at 80. Because something's going to kill you. He'll be missed hugely by us, his family and friends, and remembered as a kind-hearted, generous, and compassionate man, partner, and father whose legacy of extraordinary work has touched the lives of so many over the years. We are heartbroken. Warner was Emmy nominated for playing Reinhard Heydrich, a Nazi official who was a key architect to the final solution in the landmark 1978 miniseries Holocaust. They won an Emmy for playing sadistic Roman political opportunist Pompeius Falco in the 1981 miniseries Masada. He reprised the role of Heydrich in the 1985 telepic Hitler's SS Portrait of Evil. Recently appeared in Mary Poppins Returns, You, Me, and Him, and Showtime's Penny Dreadful, which he died right away, as I recall. He was also cast in Titanic, but was wasted in the role of a thug-like butler. Well, Titanic sucks. Overrated movie. He played Simeon Senator in Tim Roth's 2001 crappy Planet of the Apes movie, and a doctor in the 2005 Ladies in Lavender. Nobody's seen half of this shit. Planet of the Apes remake sucked balls. Watch the original, it's better. Ladies in Lavender, I've never even fucking heard that. Titanic, way overrated. Penny Dreadful should have been one season. And the one chick was pretty hot in that. I think you get to see her boobies. People remember him from The Omen. People remember him from Time After Time. And, of course, you've got Time Bandits and Tron. Tron was awesome. He was in Nightwing. A bunch of other awesome movies. Tron boasted then state-of-the-art special effects. That was a great fucking movie. Company of Wolves, I've seen that. I don't remember it. Angela Lansbury was in it. Wasn't that good. Ballad of Cable Hogue. Nobody fucking remembers that, okay? Star Trek V, Final Frontier. All right, much better. Undiscovered Country. Yep. Final Frontiers. Was it Undiscovered Countries the one with the Klingons? That one is a fucking amazing film. Chain of Command, Star Trek episodes. He was in Doctor Who. So he's been in tons of stuff. And I've seen tons of this guy's work. He's got an amazing record of great projects. Oh, thanks, Monkey. How you doing, man? Oh, hey, Costin. How's it going? Yeah, don't bother with Titanic unless some chick's gonna make you see it. It's 3 hours of a big-headed weirdo pining over a fat chick. Ugh. Billy Zane is wasted in that movie. He is incredibly talented, and they made him into like this generic bad guy at the end. It was freaking stupid. Sorry, my sinuses have been flaring up for like the last 30 minutes. Not entirely sure why. Don't forget to hit the like button, share the streams, support me if you want to, if you can, because I like money. The link is at the top of the chat and going through the chat. Oh yeah, he was the Klingon that got assassinated. Okay, yeah, Christopher Lloyd's in that movie too, as a Klingon. Very, very great movie. Purple superhero outfits, yeah. Oh man, if Billy Zane had been dressed like the Phantom in Titanic, that'd have been awesome. Yeah, I liked the Phantom. It was a goofy movie, but I think it's because they changed direction halfway through production because it was supposed to be this super serious movie. And then they decided they wanted a comedy after they'd already started filming parts, so it was all disjointed. But I would have loved to see the Phantom in Titanic. It would have made that movie way, way better. So, yeah, unfortunately, David Warner died. But we have a few others that passed away recently, which unfortunately there's a lot of talent left us this time. Paul Sorvino died. He died at age 83. Last month was pictured with shotgun and caption saying, "You liberals try and come get our guns." What a great guy. I remember him mostly from Law and Order. I mean, yeah, he was in Goodfellas, but I will always remember him as being one of the coolest partners that Detective Logan ever had. Great actor. Very, very talented man. His publicist, Roger Neal, told DailyMail.com Sorvino died Monday morning in Indiana of natural causes. His wife of 8 years, actress and political pundit Dee Benke, was by his side. Hearts are broken. There will never be another Paul Sorvino. He was the love of my life and one of the greatest performers to ever grace the screen and stage. Benke, who often shared photos of their life together, posted a photo of Sorvino holding a shotgun on June 2nd as Democratic lawmakers pushed for stricter gun control following a slew of mass shootings. They always got to throw that in. You really want to fuck with this old dude holding a shotgun? I want. His daughter's still hot. What's up, Mira? There he is in Goodfellas. Here he is with his wife. I don't know who she is. She's somebody, I guess. He kind of looks like my dad here. Wow. He made his Broadway debut in 1964 in Bajor and his film debut in Carl Reiner's Where's Papa in 1970. The 6'4" stature, Sorvino made an impactful presence no matter the medium. In 1970s, he acted alongside Al Pacino in The Panic in Needle Park and with James Caan in The Gambler. Re-teamed with Reiner in Oh God and was among the ensemble in William Friedlicher's bank robbery comedy The Brinks Job. I've seen that movie. I don't remember it, but I know I've seen it. In John Evelyn Rocky follow-up, Slow Dancing in the Big City, Sorvino got to play a romantic lead and uses dance training opposite professional ballerina Ann Ditchburn. However, the actor has said that his road to on-screen success was challenging and that earlier on his acting gigs were elusive. He worked as a waiter, a bartender, sold cars, and taught children acting lessons. I bet that was a nightmare. Most of the time, I just another out-of-work actor who couldn't get arrested, he told the New York Times in 1972. I had confidence in my ability, and I was angry as hell when other people didn't recognize it. He even appeared in commercials for deodorant and tomato sauce. After the birth of his eldest daughter, Mira Sorvino, in 1967, he wrote advertising copy for 9 months. The actor claimed the job gave him an ulcer. Yeah, that would give you an ulcer. That would be horrible. He looked like he was pretty spry in his later years. He had this like chubby younger wife. There he is with Bruce Willis and Bryn Thayer. This is Mira again. Here's a building. Okay, that he lived here. So in this nondescript, every Midwestern town has one building. That Good job. You took a picture of a building that appears everywhere west of the Rockies. Sorvino married actress Lorraine Davis in 1967. The pair had 3 children together. Holy shit. She's not best known for Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. She is best known for Mimic. Far superior movie. Although Romy and Michelle's high school reunion does hold a special place in my heart. Liked him in Goodfellas, but this was a small part in Law & Order. He was awesome. I agree, Monkey. Yeah, Paul Sorvino and Jerry Orbach made Law & Order worth watching. There are 2 distinct timelines of Law & Order that I really liked. It was Chris Noth and Paul Sorvino, and Chris Noth and Jerry Orbach. Those were the best years of Law & Order, hands down. They've never been able to replicate it. Hey, Spud. Good to see you, man. Hey, Ginger. Hey, tall person. Oh, have fun on the replay. I'll try and make it interesting. Oh, thank you, Oki, for the donation. He was a Rocketeer, enough said. Right? I love that movie. And he was a mob boss. It's like, I may be in the mob, but I'm an American. That was awesome. So this one actually kind of kicked me in the teeth a little bit because I always liked Paul Sorvino. And Mira even said, my father, the great Paul Sorvino, passed away. My heart is rent asunder. A life of love, joy, and wisdom with him is over. He was the most wonderful father. I love him so much. I'm sending you love in the stars, Dad, as you ascend. Oh, she's not aging well over here. Okay, that's not a very flattering picture. But yeah, you can tell how thin he is here. He's definitely in his 80s. That was a couple years ago. But as you get older, you tend to look your age. And he looks good for being in his 80s, actually. He just looks old. He looks like an old man. I mean, see, here he is with a more full face. He was always a stockier dude. And here he looks a lot thinner. So, yeah, Paul Sorvino, man. Lost one of the great ones. Yeah, Mira Sorvino with Weinstein. I bet she washed really well after that. Yeah, she's one of them that rejected Weinstein, and it probably did cripple her acting career. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on there. Paul Sorvino died. Hey, Sir Adamantine. Is Michael Madsen in Mimic? I think he was. I like that movie. I think it's very underrated. Oh, have a good one, Monkey. Hope you feel better. But in other death news, hold on, let me get this to load up. Bernard Cribbins, actor from Doctor Who, died at 93. That's a hell of a run. I don't know if I want to live that long. 90s, that's when your skin's all paper thin and you're all fucked up and can't do anything. Bernard Cribbins, a beloved British entertainer whose 7-decade career ranged from the Body Carry On comedies to children's television and Doctor Who. Arguably also children's television. Agent Gavin Baker Associates announced Cribbins' death on Thursday. He was unique, typifying the best of his generation, and will be greatly missed by all who had the pleasure of knowing and working with him. I've seen some more of his work. I've seen more of Paul Sorvino's, but some of his work is actually pretty good. He's a decent actor. He played station porter Albert Perks in the 1970 movie classic The Railway Children. Never heard of it. Voiced all characters in The Wombles, a 1970s animated series about a family of burrowing creatures living under London's Wimbledon Common. Was that like the precursor to Fraggle Rock? He was also the voice of road safety squirrel Tufty Fluffytail in a series of public information films, and held the record for the most appearances, more than 100, on the children's storytelling series Jackanory. That's the most British thing I've ever heard. Mimic is very underrated. Yeah, I think that's true, nobody. He would have beat the shit out of him. Is your money evil? Give it to Jack. Exactly. because if you give me money, then the clowns won't eat you. He was in Two-Way Stretch alongside Peter Sellers, Doctor Who spinoff Daleks Invasion of Earth 2150 AD, which is a really, really obvious low-budget film, but it's pretty fun. It was just a readaptation of a Doctor Who story. The 1967 James Bond spoof Casino Royale, and Alfred Hitchcock's final thrillers Frenzy, 1972. Not one of the best Hitchcock films, but worth a view. I think Hitchcock's kind of overrated sometimes, but that's because we've seen so much stuff like that now, so many imitators. So you tend to lose sight of it. He appeared in several movies in the Carry On series, was a memorable guest star on the sitcom Faulty Towers, and had top 10 hits with comedy songs Hole in the Ground and Right Said Fred. Younger generation knew Cribbins as Wilfred Mott, a companion to David Tennant's titular Doctor when Doctor Who was revived in the 21st century. He appeared in another BBC children's series, Old Jack's Boat. Not mine, somebody else's. Between 2013 and 2015, and film scenes earlier this year for an upcoming Doctor Who 60th anniversary special. So yeah, it's, if you were watching Doctor Who during Tennant's run, I think he was Donna Noble's grandfather. But he was on the TARDIS a few times too. I always thought he was a pretty solid actor. I've seen some of his work, and like I said, not bad. I like the original Doctor Who better because the low budget cheese factor really does add to it. Yeah, it's not for everybody, TOS. You kind of have to grow up with it, I think. Because especially the older stuff is so low budget. Like, they're doing stuff with like aluminum foil and whatever they have laying around in a warehouse, I think. You know, whatever they could steal out of some plastic factory's dustbin. Then you get to the one that upset me the most. This was real disappointing. Because the others were, you know, Paul Sorvino was in his 80s. David Warner was 80, and Bernard Cribbins was 93. But you go over to the Sun, a lot of dead British guys today. Alan Grant died. Batman in 2000 AD, comic writer, died at age 73 after being ill for some time. Now, I hadn't seen a picture of him until like 2000-ish, and I was like, he did not look anything like I expected. Because he looks like he's going to take Charlie Bucket to the Wonka factory. But he did a lot of good Batman stuff in the 80s and 90s. I think it was the 90s mostly. Because he wrote, I think, every issue of Shadow of the Bat. Tributes poured in for the unsung hero of UK comics, with friends and family sharing fond memories. He looks a little bit like Sean Pertwee right here. His wife Sue confirmed the devastating news on Facebook. I have no words. Alan died this morning. Alan from Bristol was known for his work on Batman in the 2000 AD series, in which he invented the fictional character Judge Dredd. The comic book writer first entered the comic industry in 1967, where he became editor for DC Thomas in Dundee. From there, he partnered with John Wagner, another former DC Thomas editor, and the pair began a long-running partnership. Alan worked on several comics throughout his career, including the Batman Judge Dredd crossover comics. While working on the Batman series in the 80s and 90s, the writer co-created characters Anarchy, Victor Zsasz, and the Ventriloquist. Pals and said the legend was ill for some time before he died at the age of 73. They don't really say what he died of, but it was probably bad. That necklace not helping your cause of not looking like a ugly woman. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to check out some of his comic work, he was a great 80s and 90s writer. Don't know much about his early work. I've only read some Judge Dredd, and like Judge Dredd America was really good. But yeah, pour one out for Alan Grant. No, I think Denny O'Neil wrote Death in the Family. most of his stuff was he was kind of off and on the Bat books, but he wrote, I think, all 93 issues of Shadow of the Bat, and the crossovers with Judge Dredd. Both those were pretty good, I think. I forget which other ones he wrote off the top of my head. I could look it up, but I'm really lazy. Oh, thank you again, Okie Native. Bad guy. Come on, Eddie. Does it matter where the money comes from? Other bad guy in Paul Sorvino voice. It matters to me. I got boys fighting over there. I may not make an honest buck, but I'm 100% American. I don't work for no 2-bit Nazi. Classic. That's right. That is such a great line out of that movie. I like The Rocketeer. It's good, cheesy fun. It's a fun kid superhero film. And I know they're going to fuck it up with this new nonsense they're pushing. This new stupid remake they're going to do. Also in death, we talked about this briefly on Monkey in the Morning. Leave It to Beaver star Tony Dow dead at 77 after premature announcement. Best known for his role as Big Brother Wally in the TV classic Leave It to Beaver, has died at 77. Dow's death was prematurely announced on Tuesday after his wife, Lauren Shookend, mistakenly notified the actor's management team. They were very distraught over the condition of her husband and believed he had been declared dead. Well, then they updated it, said he wasn't dead, and then he did die. So, unfortunately, he passed away as well. He died of cancer, but they didn't say what kind. His health issues first surfaced in 2021 when he was briefly hospitalized with pneumonia and had a violent cough. Unfortunately, that cough got to be something a lot more serious. He probably had lung cancer if he was coughing that bad. Because if you have a persistent cough like that, I had histoplasmosis, which they mistakenly thought might be lung cancer, and that was a scary period of time, let me tell you. But it was the same kind of symptoms. Dow starred as Wally, the older brother of the Beaver, in Leave It to Beaver from 1957 to 1963 for 6 seasons. The new Leave It to Beaver in 1983 show aired for 4 seasons until 89. Dow went on to guest star on other shows like My Three Sons, Dr. Kildare, Lassie, and The Greatest Show on Earth before taking a reoccurring role on Mr. Novak. He also got behind the camera, having directed TV episodes for shows like Coach, Babylon 5, and Harry and the Hendersons. That's a hell of a range. Coach, Babylon 5, and Harry and the Hendersons. In 1965, he took a break from acting to serve in the National Guard for 3 years. He even tried his hand at writing and entered journalism school in the 70s. Dow spoke to CBS This Morning earlier this year about his iconic role in Leave It to Beaver and how being a child star allowed him to not be independent. From the time I was 11 or 12, I was told what to do. I was told on the set, I was told at home I didn't have control of my life. That would suck balls. Being in the TV industry screws kids up. Well, the role of Wally defined it. He didn't want to be in the public eye and the fame that came with it. I was going to live with it for the rest of my life. It's sad to be famous at 12 years old or something and then grow up and become a real person and nothing's happening for you. In the 1980s, he took roles on projects Knight Rider, Square Pegs, and Murder, She Wrote. Again, wildly different things. Knight Rider being the only good one in that lineup. Murder, She Caused. I wrote a book just like this. Well, you're the prime suspect, bitch. Square Pegs. Overrated, I'm sorry. I know people have fond memories of that show. I don't remember it at all. The 90s saw the filmmaker take some behind the scenes, like I said, he did Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Babylon 5. So pretty varied career. You may not recognize, you may not be intimately familiar with his acting, but his directing you probably have seen if you're any bit of a nerd. That movie should have been a blockbuster. It absolutely should have. Rocketeer was fucking awesome. Oh, Jim Starlin wrote Death in the Family. Jim Starlin also created Thanos. So, goodbye, Wally. I'm sure the beaver will miss you. Nice. Oh, thanks for watching the review series. Thank you. Gary Whitta, the worst Batman Raider to ever exist. Raider ever still exists. What a loss. Yeah, well, there's a lot of shit writers out there. They're a lot easier to come across. All right, our last really sad article is that if you watched American Pickers, Frank Fritz had a stroke. He's pretty young, too, so hopefully he can recover, but he was overweight, like a lot of us are. But his co-star, Mike Wolf, announced it on Instagram. As I recall, they weren't getting along real well. So this actually kind of surprised me that Mike Wolf would announce it, because Frank left the show a couple years back, I guess. I've been very private in the past year in regards to Frank's life and the journey he's been on, Wolf said. There's been lots of opinions in regards to mine and Frank's friendship in the show, but now is not the time to set the record straight. Now is the time to pray for my friend. Frank has suffered a stroke and is in the hospital. Please keep him in your hearts and thoughts. Frank, I pray more than anything you make it through this okay. I love you, buddy. That's actually it's actually really cool of Mike to say that, because they apparently had a falling out of some kind and Frank left the show over it. That chick with all the tattoos left the show too. I think she just got fat, but maybe not. As TMZ reported, Fritz stepped away from the History Channel show about a year ago to deal with health problems. He needed a back surgery procedure and has a history of Crohn's disease. The restoration show, in which the host finds what is thought to be old beat-up junk and blah, blah. It's been on for 23 seasons, 343 episodes. The seasons are real short. Don't believe that shit. 23 years, no. 343 episodes, though, is a hell of a run. Fritz became part of American Pickers in 2010. The last episode in which the 56-year-old appeared aired in March 2020. So I hope he recovers, but it's pretty rough. 56 is pretty young to be having a stroke. But it didn't look like he ate a lot of health food, And I don't either, so that worries me quite a bit. But I hope he pulls through okay. Mike Wolf is kind of a piece of shit. He seems to be, yeah. Chick with the tattoos was hired just to be on the show. They'd never met her before. Oh my God, I didn't know that. Wow. Speaking of tattooed chicks, though, coming from the least used news source in my feed, CBN News, because I don't watch a lot of the Jesus, unless I'm watching the 700, or not 700 Club, the Jack Van Impe show. That was a classic, because that dude was all about the apocalypse. Jesus is coming back. He clearly never read Book of Revelation, because it's a lot of bad shit before Jesus shows up. Kat Von D recognizes spiritual battle as she tosses books on witchcraft and tarot, moves from darkness to light. Hey, come on. We needed something a little more lighthearted after all those bad things. World-renowned California tattoo artist and entrepreneur from the TLC reality TV series LA Inc. has had a spiritual awakening about dabbling in darkness. Kat Von D, there's a lot of D jokes in there, whose full name is Catherine von Drakenberg. Your name sounds like Dracula and you shortened it to the letter D? What the fuck? You used to offer a tarot-themed collection in a shade of black lipstick she had named Witches, but then, in January 2020, she sold her shares in the makeup company and began covering her tattoos, according to Movie Guide. Did she wear a burqa? In the Instagram post on Thursday, Von Drachenberg confessed to her followers, "I've got a lot of things wrong in my past." I don't know if any of you have been going through changes in your lives right now, but in the last few years, I've come to some pretty meaningful realizations. Many of them revolving around the fact that I've got a lot of things wrong in my past, she wrote. No shit. This is a recent article, too, guys. This is some dude fucked that chick over hardcore. Today, I went through my entire library, threw out my books that just didn't align with who I am and who I want to be. The tattoo artist don't throw books away. Give them away. Give them to the library or Goodwill or something. Don't throw books in the trash. The tattoo artist pointed out she definitely doesn't want to invite anything macabre into her home. I've always found beauty in the macabre, but at this point, I just had to ask myself, what is my relationship with this content? And the truth is, I just don't want to invite any of these things into our family's lives, even if it comes disguised in beautiful covers, collecting dust on my shelves. Books are for reading, not display. Von Drachenberg explained to her followers that there was definitely a spiritual battle taking place, and she wanted only love and light around her and her family. In no way is this post designed to put anyone down if you're into this stuff, because I think we're all on our own journey, and I love everyone regardless of where they might be at. I don't love everybody. There's a lot of scumbags out there that I hope burn in hell and get hit by city buses and then get backed over. But I guess I'm a little judgmental. But right now, it's never been more clear to me that there's a spiritual battle taking place. I want to surround myself and my family with love and light. That's not a bad goal, but that doesn't mean you have to get rid of all your cool stuff. With that being said, I want to send extra love to everyone out there and hope some of these trying times you're making meaningful changes in your life too. That statue's creepy. It's staring at me. Like this eye's half asleep. That one's wide open. Is that lazy eye? I don't know what's happening here. But yeah, you got a lot of trinket shit here. That's where books go. Get a curio cabinet. You don't just set random shit on your bookshelf. You could display a couple, but that's a whole shelf where books go. And this shit pisses me off. Books are not meant to be stacked like this. You're trying to be artsy. Knock it the fuck off. Stand them on their side like they're supposed to be. Like this. So you can find stuff easier. Not have to turn your head every time you try and look at that. It's fucking irritating. The Instagram post also included a photo of her home library and a photo of the witches, tarot cards, and magic books she got rid of. Did she burn these books? Is that what's going on? Van Drachenberg and her family bought a home in Indiana. What is with Indiana today? Paul Sorvino died there, and then this bitch bought a home there in December 2020 to escape California's terrible policies, tyrannical government overreach, ridiculous taxing amongst so much corruption. Indiana sucks, okay? I've been there many, many times. I'm from Ohio. We go there to laugh at them because they're more boring than we are. Of course, we have a lot of serial killers and presidents. They don't have that. We just felt the need to plant roots in a small town where there is nature, where my son can play free, or can be free to play, and where we can eventually retire one day. Von Drachenberg also recently closed her famous LA tattoo parlor and listed her California mansion for more than $12 million. Well, that'll buy you a really nice house in Indiana. Her parents are Seventh-day Advents. That explains a lot right there. So she's given up all her cool books and apparently has some issues she's working through. So there's your Kat Von D update. She talks like a man. She does talk like a man. She had a come to Jesus moment. Yeah, apparently. But, I don't begrudge any religious people. I'm not overly religious, but I'm not going to judge people for having like a spiritual awakening. But I do have a problem with people throwing books away. So I just wanted to go to a little lighter news. Now let's jump over to GQ. Oh, can't talk. Voice is all strained already. Netflix retroactively editing Stranger Things is the beginning of a dangerous TV trend. Yeah, buy physical media. We saw this earlier with Netflix having that weird edited version of Back to the Future 2, where the Ooh La La magazine got edited out because it was the TV version. Yeah. When the Xbox 360 was introduced back in the mid-2000s, it brought with it an epochal shift, consumer-friendly, broad online connectivity boasting global multiplayer, party chats, and the ability to download new games. I first saw this on the PS2. I didn't have an original Xbox. But they're talking about the Xbox 360. I played Time Splitters on the PS2 online. So, fuck you. With the digital tidal wave that came the console bug patches, less than a megabyte update, allowing developers to clean and refine code well after their product had shipped. This may contain spoilers. I don't remember. So if you are watching Stranger Things or you haven't seen it yet, here's your warning. Come back in 5 minutes. Call of Duty fans would complain about gun balance, for example, and damage modifiers, blah, blah, blah. But last, as I say, innovation is often fueled by laziness. And now the biggest gaming studios can afford to be negligent. Yeah, that's why you always get day one patches, like they say here. Day one patches have become the standard. And that irritates the shit out of me. I hate that crap. I'd rather have a game that was slightly lower quality, but playable right out the gate, and I didn't have to download a bunch of stuff. It's one of the reasons I don't have a game console anymore. I do miss my Xbox 360, though. Games are typically shipped in working condition, but in need of a post-purchase download. Just say download, you fucking idiots. Given the relative permanence of TV and film, you'd think the screen industries would remain unscathed. No, we all remember the special editions of Star Wars and E.T., so don't even try and lie to me there. But you'd be so very wrong if Stranger Things creators the Duffers get their way. In an interview with Variety in early June, the sibling directorial duo confirmed plans to George Lucas, i.e. retrospectively edit, a moment in Stranger Things Season 2, owing to a fan-identified plot hole. It's a simple mistake of an expansive series costing $30 million an episode, really. The creative team set an episode of Stranger Things 4 on March 22nd, forgetting that it had been established as Will Byers' birthday in the earlier season. The error is mostly anodyne, singularly offensive to the most hardened hand-wringing of pedants. It's giving genius at work, and certainly not something that needs to be fixed after the fact. The reason given for the tweak, they didn't want the fans to feel sad or be mad at them for their negligence. Oh, your little fifis are hurting because of a minor trivial error? Fuck off. I don't want to set this precedent where they just go back and start altering everything. Confirmation was given to Variety later that month. We have George Lucas things also that people don't know about. Oh, see, they can't stop tinkering. Matt Duffer said, declining to touch upon the specific alterations made to previous seasons. A long-standing rumor that a shot of Jonathan photographing Nancy from the bushes outside Steve's house had been removed has proven to be false. Editing and continuity error after the fact would be fairly innocuous if not for the implied slippery slope. The slippery slope train's coming. No one can ever convince me, a rational person, that anyone aside from a subset of weirdos online would actually care. Exactly. You have too much time on your hands if you're that nitpicky. I mean, yeah, you could be like, well, this is an error. Haha, we found an Easter egg. It's like seeing the car in the background of Fellowship of the Ring. Said tweaks bode no dramatic change, and if this was a news story, the vast majority of viewers simply wouldn't notice. Season 1 came out 6 years ago, after all. It's not as though most watchers are tracing back character beats like an archivist for Ancestry.com. As much as I'm sure the Duffers would like to think Kool-Aid had been more widely sampled. Yeah, it's a trivial thing to do. And I think it's stupid and it sets a bad precedent, because what they're going to do then is, oh, this is problematic. We should change this. And they'll CGI in some bullshit. Yeah, exactly, Evil One. I love finding mistakes. Yeah, the guns to phone thing, that was fucking dumb. E.T. ruined. I actually had to go find a VHS copy of E.T. so I could have the original. And, that just annoyed me. Yeah, they can be interesting. They're fun little Easter eggs for people to find. There's all sorts of weird stuff hidden in the background sometimes, or weird editing mistakes, or you can see the boom mic, or like that episode of Moon Knight where you can see one of the camera guys. They're fun little things to notice in movies and to talk about. You shouldn't go back and edit them out. Just leave the things alone. Leave things alone. Ben-Hur had a good one where there's a propellant tank under one of the chariots that causes it to flip, and they didn't go back and Photoshop that out because it's stupid. About a season of The Simpsons from Amazon when they decided to pull the Michael Jackson episode. It just disappeared. Would have been nice if they gave me the option to keep it if I wanted. Yeah, exactly. That's why you got to get physical media. They did that with Paranormal State. If you remember that, it's like a pseudo ghost hunting show with a bunch of morons. One of the episodes they got sued over, so they pulled the episode from the collected edition. I think it's back in there now. All that got resolved, I guess. But for like one of the DVD releases, it doesn't say complete season 2. It just says season 2. So there's 2 different versions of the DVD. And I don't like it when they do that crap. The Simpsons has done it, and I think South Park has done it too. Where you can see the soundstage of the first Star Trek movie. Yeah. Both panels are chopped up. Yeah, exactly, Evil One. You can't find the 200th episode of South Park. Oh, you can find it. It just won't be on any official sites. It's going to be on some sketch sites. So, yeah, I hate it when they manipulate that stuff and they make it seem like it's not even real. What really pissed me off was if you go back and watch Bosom Buddies, they changed the theme song for the DVD release of it. Because it used to be a Billy Joel song, and they switched it to something else. I don't like that because that's real close to book burning, in my opinion. All right, let's talk about one of the more annoying things that's coming up. We are going to talk about the MCU briefly. But here we've got from Bleeding Fool. This is an opinion piece, I believe. The mutants, Marvel Studios won't bring the outdated X-Men into the MCU. This is the rumor that's been going around, and there's kind of soft confirmation floating around out there that this is what they're probably going to do. And I think it's really dumb. Deadline reported during the San Diego Comic-Con, the MCU's take on the X-Men will go by the mutants. Deadline is a pretty reliable source most of the time. This is not the first time that the mutants has been touted as the official title for when the likes of Professor Xavier, Wolverine, the X-Men, enter the MCU fray. The title was rumored last year. While the idea of the X-Men movie not being called X-Men seems a little strange, it does track with how the MCU has been slowly introducing the existence of mutants, most recently on Ms. Marvel. It's mostly because Kevin Feige is giving into the woke mob and just is throwing away storytelling in favor of wokeisms. I don't know if that's a bait and switch and that was his plan the whole time, or if he's just a giant cuckbag. The biggest move toward the existence of mutants so far comes courtesy of Ms. Marvel. I don't care. Kevin Feige has the master plan. He's the only one who knows, but if you're keeping up, Marvel recently promoted Victoria Alonso, president of physical post-production, VFX, and animation at Marvel Studios. And not only has she promised more transgender superheroes in the MCU, but she also thinks the name X-Men isn't inclusive enough and called the name outdated. As Fox News reported, can you give me a little bit of hint of where the future is going and the excitement, the host asked Alonso. I don't know where the future is going. It's funny that people call it the X-Men. There's a lot of female superheroes in the X-Men group, so I think it's outdated. I don't know where it's going to go. Just X-Men, the men standing for like mankind, not penis havers. Maybe all the women identify as men. Did you think about that, Victoria? No, you didn't. Looks like things are going exactly the way Alonso wanted it to go. If you don't understand the stupidity of this, I'll let Clownfish explain it. There's a link to the Clownfish video. It's not that exciting. They pretty well summed it up here. So we're going to see the mutants. I don't know how that's going to work on their branding, because mutant isn't exactly something that they're going to be able to trademark real well. 10 people complaining on Twitter. Yeah, pretty much. They'll end up with blank screens. Their complaints will never end. Yeah, their complaints never do end. That's the key problem, is everybody bitches, but the people bitching are worthless. They don't typically come see your product or buy it. They're largely just whiners and fake fans more often than not. Let's be real. So I don't know what the hell they're thinking, but they got to get their woke points in there. We are approaching the top of the hour where I do shameless whoring. So if you're enjoying the show, please hit the like button, share it on your social media if you would, subscribe if you haven't, ring the bell for notifications, and if you're feeling generous, you can toss me a couple bucks at the Streamlab link, pinned at the top of the chat, going through your chat, and in the description, along with other support methods. The Patreon video is going up later today, too. So let's see what we got here. Next up, let's talk about the MCU. Get it over with. Marvel Comic Con Multiverse Saga announces Avengers, Captain America, and more. So let's look at their schedule. They announced Phase 5 and Phase 6. Phase 4 is just kind of ending. They don't really have a good reason for it. So we've got She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Ooh, Secret Invasion coming in the spring. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. That's where we're really going to see Kang. That's February 17th, 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 on May 5th, 2023. Black Panther in November of this year. Echo in the summer next year. I'm not that interested. Loki Season 2 is in the summer of next year. Blade in November 2023. Also going to be a movie, but rumor is there's going to be a spin-off TV show. Ironheart is coming in the fall of 2023 on Disney+. She's going to be in Black Panther for Wakanda Forever. The rumor is that there's going to be some kind of Doctor Doom or Fantastic Four teaser at the end of Black Panther. But I think they're just trying to gin up interest in it so that people go see it instead of just watching it streaming. Agatha, Coven of Chaos that nobody asked for it next winter. Daredevil Born Again in spring of 2024. Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are going to be in it. I like Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox both as actors, so I am hoping this is good, but it's Disney, so it could be pretty dog shit. Captain America, New World Order. Not real Captain America. This is Falcon. In theaters May 3rd, 2024. So you have to wait 2 years for that nonsense. Thunderbolts is coming July 2024. Which, what they've already released about it sounds stupid because it's not following the comic book at all. Citizen V is actually going to be the second Citizen V in the comic series. Fantastic Four in November of 2024. Kang Dynasty Avengers May 2nd, 2025. So none of the real fun people are going to be in there. The Wonder Man series they've kind of alluded to, but I haven't seen much on it. Hopefully Wonder Man will be in some of this. Avengers Secret Wars in November. I think this is where they're going to recast a lot of the main heroes, because they haven't even written this script yet. But I think that they've seen enough of the damage that they've done with some of the flagging sales, especially with like Thor. I think if they're going to reintroduce Captain America, Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, and some of the other characters, they're going to do it in Secret Wars. That's the hope, anyway. So there you go. There's the MCU schedule. I really have lost almost all desire to see any of this except this Daredevil show. The rest, I honestly just don't care anymore. I used to be really excited to see stuff, but They've been so hit and miss, and stuff like this are going to be stupid and goofy, and they're going to be all like, oh, no tension, tee hee hee, you might have fun. Phase 4 shit. Yeah. I did like the Doctor Strange movie, but that was probably the best one out of everything. The She-Hulk thing looks stupid. It looks really lazy. They're trying to make everything into silly stuff, and you get a bunch of fake nerd girls, and that's all you get. You don't have real fans. You have fair weather fans. All right, let's get to one of the titles of the stream. There's going to be a new Robin Hood series. And it's going to be stupid. Just telling you now. Global TV begins production on Robin Hood series to reimagine classic English folk hero as a black female Gen Zer. Can you see how empowered she looks right there? Can you sense the I don't need no man sass that she's got? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Also, this spelling of Robin Hood is used for Xenoscope's comic, so they may run into a bit of a problem there. Confirming that not even the Sherwood Forest can offer protection from the current state of Western entertainment, Canadian television network Global has announced that production has begun on Robin Hood, a new small screen series which will reimagine the English archer of legend as a young black female Gen Zer. Oh boy, can't you just wait? Following its original development announcement in January 2022, the upcoming 8-episode miniseries officially entered production on June 20th in Toronto and Hamilton areas. Created by Canadian music video director, Director X, and featuring a story by Orphan Black story coordinator Chris Roberts, the 8-episode near-fi action drama, I don't know what that is described by Global as a contemporary reimagining of Robin Hood, which sounds suspiciously like the Xenoscope comic book. Oh, he's having a rough day. As per synopsis of the series provided by the network, in this modern take on Robin Hood legend, Robin is a fearless young woman who is not just another superhero with abilities normal people don't have. She's a Gen Zer, driven by the injustices of today. She's gonna fight white people, yo. Who embraces the heroic, hopeful, and playful elements of the world's most recognizable folk hero. So she's just stealing some white dude's mantle. That's kind of racist. She learns to fight for what's right, to care for and lead her followers. And like all Robin Hood since the first ballad, Robin holds those in power to account by using their greed against them to help her community. Oh, she's fighting for her hood, guys. That's not racist at all. Turning to the protagonist herself, Global explained, Robin Hood follows Robin Loxley. Hey, same name as the Xenoscope character. A young woman whose masked hip-hop band, The Hood, is known for their inventive videos and anti-authoritarian message. This is so generically bad. She lives in Sherwood Towers, a cluster of rental high-rises in a working-class corner of New Nottingham, a nearby city where the cost of living has skyrocketed, leaving an ever-widening gap between the rich and everyone else. Oh boy, that sounds fucking awesome. Oh god, did Daily Stormer write a bunch of plot synopsises and mail them out to people? The synopsis ultimately concludes with a hint toward the series' actual plot, teasing when Robin finds herself fighting for her home and her family against local property developer John Prince and the sheriff of New Nottingham. Robin and her band, The Hood, decide to fight back, righting the wrongs of the corrupt elite to give back to the people who are living under their regime. Oh, how often do you think Black Lives Matter, the phrase, comes up in the first episode? I'm guessing 6. Alongside the series production announcement, Global also revealed Robin Hood's principal cast, beginning with the news that Jesse Romeo was set to lead the series as the titular Robin. I don't understand this obsession with hating rich people, because we all want to be rich. There's this thing where we pedestalize poor people now. It's that weird communist proletariat thing where we almost fetishize people that own nothing. and it's like they want to stay owning nothing. I don't know anybody that wants to stay owning nothing. Joining her will be Nakeem Provo of Simon the Right One. I don't know. Bunch of other people that I don't know about as Robin the Hood's bandmates. See, they're in a band, guys. They're not just merry men. No, it's probably an all-chick band. I don't know who any of these people are, so I'm just assuming it's like a Josie and the Pussycats knockoff. The series will also feature Sidney Kuhn as attorney Marion Fitzwalter, Ian Matthews as villainous real estate tycoon John Prince, and Kira something or other as New Nottingham's corrupt sheriff. Ooh. Rounding out the cast will be Manuel Rodriguez Sanez as rival rapper Guy Gisborne, and Lisa Michelle Cornelius as Tressie Loxley, an activist and Robin's mom. How much you want to bet she's gay too? And she has a lesbian lover who's like a sassy Puerto Rican or some nonsense? Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, Richard. It's going to be an evil white dude. Friar Tuck's going to be hooking up with trans-maid Marion. I think Friar Tuck is probably going to be some down-earth pimp-style hood preacher, except he'll be teaching communism or some nonsense. So there you go, a new stupid Robin Hood version. All right, let's jump back over to Bleeding Fool for a second. I don't remember if I covered this last time. Yes, I know, Ginger. It's kind of self-evident, isn't it? Oni Press lays off senior staff and cancels their SDCC presence. It's actually pretty impressive because we all saw it coming. Earlier this week, this is a few weeks old, obviously, because San Diego's already happened. Oni Press formally canceled their planned programming for the San Diego Comic-Con, and yesterday it was revealed they let go numerous senior staff members. The news follows recent firings of Charlie Chu, Vice President and Creative and Business Development, and the publisher James Lucas Jones. Oni's sales manager Henry Barajas, who joined Oni Press less than a year ago, as well as senior editors Jasmine Amari and Amanda Meadows, tweeted about being laid off. I got fired, yo! That's the summation. This is not shocking. Oni's been struggling for a long time. They merged with Lion Forge as kind of a saving measure for both companies. And Oni hasn't been really big since, like, Kevin Smith did some comics with them. They did some decent comics, like some decent indie stuff back in late 90s, early 2000s. But they really haven't done much since. Both Amari and Meadows were able to survive the last round of layoffs in the wake of the 2019 merger with Lion Forge after being purchased by Polarity. That's the parent company. Back then, founder Dave Stewart said in a New York Times interview, we're going to take a look at efficiencies and identify a number of avenues of growth as well. Obviously, there weren't any. And they haven't really produced much of anything lately. So they haven't even been putting out books in order to get revenue coming in. And Lion Forge had its own like superhero universe. Most of it sucked ass, don't get me wrong, but I have one of the miniseries around somewhere that was called like 7 Days or something like that. That was like a big superhero crossover with all their characters. So like their big yearly crossover. It only happened once. But they had all these characters and stuff that they had sitting around and they didn't really seem to do anything with. Maybe they haven't been hiring quality people at Oni? Yeah, obviously. Or the opposite could be true and the corporate culture is toxic. It's probably both. Bob something and Joe something else started Oni in 1997. The indie publisher is arguably most recognized for Brian Lee O'Malley's Scott Pilgrim graphic novels from 2004 to 2010, and they haven't been really hitting any winners since. But since then, they've not had the same success with the original content. There you go. Just said it. So, yeah, it looks like they're probably going under. Oni's going to go under. Probably, obviously, Lion Forge is going with it, too. I fully expect that IDW will probably be done at the end of the year as well, or very close to done. Haven't heard about Oni in years. Exactly. They haven't kept their name out there. Fat Al Sharpton, yeah. So I expect Oni's going to fold here real soon. IDW is on its way out. I'm surprised they've lasted this long, but they're losing the G.I. Joe and Transformers license in December. That's the last month they'll be able to do anything with those. And then they're down to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and not much else. I think they still have My Little Pony and Sonic, but I think they're losing Ghostbusters as well. And they lost something else to Dark Horse. So, yeah, they lost the Star Wars license a while back as well. Oh, thank you, your pimp. Here you go, whore. Thanks, pimp. Much appreciated. But yeah, things aren't looking good. Comic industry is really struggling. There's a good possibility DC is going to go under in the next year or two as well. Because they've been producing a lot of woke crap. Their sales are way down. And they're just doubling down on stupid. Which reminds me, there was a comic panel that I wanted to talk about that really, really pissed me off. Did I delete that? I think I did. Hold on, let me find it again, because this shit really pisses me off. They can't help themselves but take cheap shots at their own fan base. And it's tiresome. Let me just download this real fast. All right. I don't know why they still existed. Time to dust off some money and make some offers on IP, right? I'm not getting on the Rippaverse train just yet. I'm going to see what he's doing with it first. So far, he's just complaining a lot. It's way too early because everybody jumped on Cyberfrog being like, oh my God, it's going to be the greatest thing ever. And then it took a year to get out. And a lot of these guys talk a mean game and produce a lot of mediocre crap. If they produce it in anything resembling a timely manner or at all. So here's what DC is bringing you. This is a panel from Young Justice where they go back in time and meet them, their 90s versions. This isn't even our past. This place, it's like our past that got the design wrong and going out of its way to be sexist, racist, and homophobic. This place is for immature boys. That's not us. So they're spitting on the old fans of the original Young Justice series, the people who probably have kids now that they would want to pass that legacy on. They're spitting on them here. They're also spitting on you if you buy the reprints of the Young Justice stuff. So let's say you want to go out and get an omnibus of Young Justice and drop like $125, $150. They're telling you, fuck you. That stuff is homophobic, racist, and sexist. You don't deserve it. This is what they think of their older fans. You know, the large market of people that are comic fans right now, because the average age is in their 40s. So, you know, people with money and that have kids that they're wanting to get into the same hobbies as them so they could share something with their kids. So, yeah, everybody's gay now. He's bisexual. He's probably gay. He looks gay. Nobody looks masculine. This looks like a girl. And that's supposed to be Impulse. But, yeah, they think you are all sexist, racist, and homophobic if you liked anything from the 90s. That's what they think of you. Spitting on Peter David, Chuck Dixon, and Jim Lee is allowing this shit. He is a higher up. He should have some authority over this. And he is allowing this. So fuck him. Fuck DC. They can suck my balls. Buy used. Buy older stuff. You mean the people who have money? Yep. Oh, you have a job? You have a job in IT? You're a big comic nerd? They don't want your money. They think you're a homophobe. They think you're a racist. They think you're sexist because you liked something from 25 years ago. Better stuff at discount and dollar stores. Yep. That Final Faction comic was a great kids comic. I would absolutely buy that for any kid. It was only $1.25. So that really aggravated me. Yeah, don't blame me, Evil One, but there are some decent books out there. You just have to hunt for them. Even Marvel had a couple of good books. I just read Gambit issue 1. The review will be up probably later this week. And that was actually really good. It takes place during the period where Storm got de-aged. So she was a kid again and didn't have all her memories, which was right around Uncanny X-Men 265 to 267, where they introduced Gambit. And it was shockingly fun. You know who wrote it? Chris fucking Claremont. They also got Peter David back to work on new Fantastic Four miniseries, and I think he's working on the Genis Vol series. Yeah, Peter David wrote it. I got it right here. I picked it up specifically because I liked that run where Genis Vol and Rick Jones combined to become Captain Marvel, because Genis Vol is the son of the original Captain Marvel. Disney and DC don't want my tainted money, so I don't give them any. Yeah, exactly. If you don't think it's worth your money, don't buy it. Too many people are buying books out of habit. I see it every month. I go in and pick up books. There's guys there like, I'm not even reading this, but I've got every other issue of Spider-Man from since I was a kid. Yeah, it doesn't mean you should be supporting it, you idiot. It's garbage. And I'd be willing to bet that level of nostalgia accounts for probably half the sales of some of the bigger books. I've heard that some of the new Batman stuff's pretty good. I'm going to check that out. But yeah, I'm not paying full price for it. If I wasn't getting a discount, I wouldn't buy it. I really wouldn't. And I'm not buying nearly as much stuff as I used to from the new rack. I've been buying a lot of older stuff. And that's where my reviews are going to be focused more is older books, because this new stuff, they just don't want your money. I'll buy indie books. I tried out a couple of indie books. Some of them were total shit. But there was a Rocketeer miniseries that just came out. I picked those up out of the dollar bin of all places. Somebody did pick up their holds. And I'm going to pick up more like American mythology and probably some IDW stuff for some of the new stuff they've got coming out. I'll check that stuff out. Marvel and DC can suck my balls. You have to check online. Yeah, Lone Star's really good. I've had really good luck with them. And as I remember, New England Comics was pretty good to me. And what was the other one? I can't think of the name of it. But it starts with like nerd in the title. They were pretty good. I ordered from them a few times. But like Lone Star is mycomicshop.com. And I've had great experience with them. Their prices are a bit high, especially on back issues. But they're not bad. Their books, there's a place called Lee's Comics that's really good too. I've had a really good experience with them. They are great at grading comics. My comic shop, if it says fine, buy fine plus or very fine, because they're not great at the fine definition. So, yeah. Anyway, next article, totally unrelated to comics, because this is a pop culture show. Prosecutors will seek 8-year jail term for Shakira after singer rejects plea deal in Spanish tax fraud case. I guess those hips don't lie. She still looks kind of hot here. Oof. What's up, baby? Prosecutors in Spain said Friday they would ask a court to sentence Colombian pop star Shakira to 8 years and 2 months in prison if she's convicted in her expected trial for alleged tax fraud. Shakira, whose full name is Shakira Isabella Mubarak Rapal, is charged with failing to pay the Spanish government 14.5 million euros, $15 million in taxes between 2012 and 2014. Did she make that much money? Prosecutors said they would also seek a fine of 24 million. The indictment details 6 charges against Shakira. The singer this week rejected a settlement deal offered by prosecutors, opting to go to trial instead. Trial date is yet to be set. Shakira's public relations team said the singer has always fulfilled her tax duties. It says the artist has deposited the amount she is said to owe, including 3 million euros in interest. Prosecutors of Barcelona have alleged the Grammy winner spent more than half of each year between 2012 and 2014 in Spain and should have paid taxes in the country. They just won a big chunk of her money. Shakira ended an 11-year-long relationship with FC Barcelona star Gerard Piqué, with whom she has 2 children. The family used to live in Barcelona. Oh, so she's single now. And she's sad because she might lose a bunch of money. Hey, what's up, Shakira? How's it going? So, yeah, she might be going to jail. Apparently, those hips do lie on tax forms, at least. Yeah, well, yeah. The ass can't go to prison. Oh, man, I don't think she would do well in jail. But Spain is... I've been to Spain, and they are kind of corrupt. She makes bank in the foreign markets, right? I would hope so. Probably a lot of that from, like, streaming and probably some concerts and shit. But, yeah, Spain, a pretty shithole country, quite frankly. Europe's supposed to be this, like, classy cultural place, and Spain's a shithole. I have an aunt from Spain, and she's kind of a bitch, but everything I've seen about Spain is just not impressive. Cops ask for bribes, shit like that, because they know you're a foreigner, and if they bust you, you're going to be in real trouble. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is some sort of attempt to extort money out of her, and she just didn't pay. Failing country, they're in huge trouble. Yeah. It was a dictatorship for 50, 60 years. Yeah, and that corruption seeped through. It's still there. So it's not real surprising. And they're borderline communist anyway. They tax the shit out of all their touristy areas, so they never actually get ahead, which they could if they would be smart about it, but they're dumb. Most Southern European countries are corrupt. Oh, yeah. Greece has the same problem. Italy's got a lot of the same problem. We saw a lot of Italy's flaws with the Foxy Noxy case when Amanda Knox was accused of killing that dude, or that chick. Yeah, exactly, Johnny. Same thought pattern. So, yeah, and then they tried her, convicted her with the worst evidence possible. If you don't know the Amanda Knox story, it is just crazy. The prosecutor was under scrutiny for being corrupt, and they still let him prosecute the case. Also, he consulted a psychic who told him about a coven of Satanists that were involved in this killing, and that Amanda Knox and random other people were involved in this. Yeah, it got that stupid. And then she got a retrial, and they acquitted her, and then they went for another retrial because they didn't like the results of that one, and she had, by that point, fled the country. And hi, Johnny. So, pretty crazy. Hey, Yumi, how's it going? Spain is broke and economically dead. Yeah, pretty much. So, Top Gear, where there was a whole huge town and no one was there. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me either. There's a lot of weird stuff in Europe. But I'd be real careful going over to Europe these days. Not a real great, thriving economic stronghold. Especially with the coming blackouts and food shortages they're going to have. Meanwhile, back over at Bleeding Fool, BatmanGate. DC writer posts damning proof Matt Reeves stole his script. Whoops. Last month, writer Chris Wozniak, previously employed as both an artist and writer for both Marvel and DC, stated making some shocking allegations. He claimed that in 2008, he had sent a solicited screenplay treatment to one of his unused comic book scripts from the 90s to executive producer Michael Uslan, whom he had met at the 2008 New York Comic Con. After seeing the film on home video, he believes the script was almost beat for beat by Matt Reeves and Warner Brothers Picture from their blockbuster hit film, The Batman. While the movie grossed over $770 million globally, Wozniak says that neither the producers nor the studio ever reached out to him or bothered to negotiate any kind of contract to make sure he was fairly compensated for his original story. He did post a video here, which we can't watch, but I'll throw the link to the article in so you can watch it. Wozniak is now asking Batman fans around the world to help him stop Hollywood from steamrolling yet another comic creator. They do love to steamroll people. Also, Hollywood's notorious for stealing your work. Any plaintiff going up against a global movie studio is going to need plenty of funding to mount a serious lawsuit. And to that end, he's launched a change.org petition to raise the funds for experienced legal representation. It's on that page where he posts the following timeline. My name is Chris Wozniak, he says. Not me, him. Former artist at DC Comics. Way back in 1990, I wrote a Batman Riddler plot that I pitched to DC Comics Batman office on and off all the way up until 2017. This is a plot I emailed directly to executive producer Michael Olson in 2008. I have a great story we never got around to doing at DC Comics, but would make a fantastic Batman film, he says. In 2008 at the New York Comic Con, I don't care where it was, Michael Olson approached my booth because he liked the title of my comic book, Barren Soil. I'm a film producer and I like the title of your book. Do you mind if I have a copy? I'm always looking for good stories. I would think that dude's just trying to get out and give me $4. I said, sure, and handed him one, and he gave me his business card. And that was it. At the time, I didn't recognize his name. Shortly after the convention, I Googled him and saw he was executive producer of all the Batman films, and I had a great Batman story. One of the best, I thought, best ever, sitting around and going to waste. It was the biggest no-brainer of all time. I emailed my plot directly to Michael Olson via the email address on his card. I never heard back, but I want to clarify that my plot was not sent unsolicited. When a film producer gives me his card and says he's always looking for good stories, I figure that's an invitation to send him a good story. That's a bit presumptuous. The only problem is he used it. Now, before executive producer Michael Olson and Warner Brothers Pictures used my plot in the film, they're supposed to negotiate a contract first to make sure I was fairly compensated. They skipped that step. I'm shocked. The only thing that shocks me more is this wasn't Disney. I'm not credited anywhere. I was not paid anything. And in case you're wondering, that's not supposed to happen. Initially, Wozniak claims didn't garner a lot of attention, but on Wednesday, he posted a second follow-up video, which seems to further prove his allegations along with additional analysis of the film and his script. The second BatmanGate rewrite video appears to further make the case that his plot was the blueprint for the Batman, and now more Bat fans are now becoming convinced of the veracity of his claims, with one commentator calling it damning proof. When asked by another commentator why he hadn't already made a lot of noise about this before the film was released, not to mention when it was in cinemas, Wozniak admitted he only found out in June when he got around to watching it on HBO Max. Yeah, I get that. I wish I'd known. I just saw the film last month on HBO for the first time. I was trying to avoid spoilers so I could be surprised. Boy, was I surprised! On his Indiegogo page, Wozniak set up to try and fundraise to mount a lawsuit. The writer shared several screenshots of communications with Archie Goodwin, Chris Bautista, and Dan DiDio, former publisher, which appeared to support his claims. I know these are kind of hard to see on the screen, but he is talking about this Batman story, and he's having this back and forth with these guys about the contents, trying to get people to read it. Responses, that sort of thing. It does go into pretty good detail here. The video makes more sense. Wozniak also pleads for supporters to help him with what he is convinced will be an expensive legal battle with the studios. Duh. With all the money Hollywood is pulling out of the comic book industry these days, comic creators need to be compensated fairly. Yeah, good luck with that, dum-dum. You signed a work-for-hire agreements. Although if they did steal his script, that's a problem for them. For the sake of all future comic creators that will have to deal with Hollywood, share the BatmanGate video, donate if you can, spread the word if you can't. We have families to take care of like everyone else. petitioned DC Comics, Michael Uslan, and Warner Brothers Pictures to make this settle this fairly. Batman fans have the power to make this right. Do you want some fat dude to dress like Batman to fly through a window or something? Bounding into comics to the previous write-up on this story when the first video was posted, and since that time there's still been no comment from DC, Warner Brothers, Michael Uslan, Matt Reeves, or anyone else associated with the Batman. In addition to the Indiegogo and YouTube channels linked above, you can learn more about the BatmanGate on Wozniak's Patreon page. So he does seem to have some evidence here that he did write a Riddler script that maybe had something to do with this. I'll let you judge for yourselves. I think there's probably something to this just because a lot of these fucking Hollywood people just steal blindly. Yeah, I'm shocked too, Umi. Hollywood stole script? My shock, right? Yep, they'll tie it up in court till he's out of money. Yep, they will run him into the ground the same way Disney does. They'll just have to bleed you dry and bury you in paperwork, effectively. So, there you go. Let's save that one for a little later in the stream. All right, over at Bounding into Comics. Woke Marvel digs even deeper with Super Trans, a support group for trans kids with powers. I can't remember if we talked about this one, but this is the laziest virtue signaling I've ever seen. And these Pride books are always in the dollar bin. Always. There's no low to which woke Marvel won't go, and the comic book company proves it yet again with the debut of, wait for it, Super Trans, a support group for trans kids with powers. Nobody wants to read a therapy journal. It's weird. We've been doing that since 2015 with Marvel. Marvel released its Marvel's Voices Pride #1 on June 22nd, and the comic book featured a short story bearing the massively exciting title of LGBTD. D stand for dong? No, it stands for D, man. Look at this stunning art here, guys. Wow, it's so great. Marvel's super proud of this, too. It's official promo material for the story. Marvel quotes author Grace Freud as saying, I wanted D-Man, one of the Marvel's gayest and goofiest characters, to find a new purpose working at an LGBT youth center and mentoring this ragtag group of fruity knuckleheads. Oh, Jesus. Hope you like it, LGBT true believers. Oh, God, this is so condescending. Yikes. Moving on, after Dunphy welcomes the kids to Super Trans, he turns to some serious business, which of course means it's time for him to talk about pronouns. Folks or folks? Wait, are they pronounced the same, he says? Why don't you introduce yourselves? Pronouns and whatnot? Oh, God, this is going to age so poorly. Look at this. It looks like his head's a balloon. And from there, we get more pronoun talk with 4 different characters spewing out gibberish for their introductions. I'm Pity Girl or Nora, she, her, the first character says. I can hypnotize people with sad stories. I've got a lot of sad stories. Wow, what an exciting character. You know who else has had sad stories? Homeless people. You know who I don't talk to? Homeless people. Because they smell. And they're weird and annoying. It's like young people. F-Lion, but call me Reed. They, them, both, because I'm non-binary and there's a whole mostly empty universe inside me. I freeze things. These characters are stupid. Third character blurts out, I'm Rex Ridley, a.k.a. Good Arson. What? And I'm a dude and I light stuff on fire with my mind. Yeah, I saw the movie Firestarter and it was done better. The original, not the shitty remake. And finally, we have the fourth character. Well, I'm Soph, not Sophie. She, her, big-time trans chick. Also go by Face Shopper. I can shapeshift into anyone as long as I think they're cool. Wow, just awful dialogue. It's terrible to the point of being nonsensical. It's worse than that. It's boring. This is boring. This is worse than sitting around watching people eat. Beyond that, the names and abilities are ridiculously pathetic. Even if they are meant to be funny due to caricature and stereotype, they fail on that level. Yeah, there's nothing exciting or interesting about this. It's just stupid. That's another problem I have with a lot of this woke crap. It's boring because they can't be edgy. They can't be interesting because somebody will cry and get offended. So it ends up being incredibly milquetoast. This is like your 40-year-old aunt trying to write a comic book for you as an 8-year-old. And like, oh, this will be fun and cutesy. Because she doesn't have any kids of her own and she has no imagination. She's sitting around drinking box wine telling you what's cute and fun. As for the rest of the plot, Spider-Man and the Sinister Syndicate are in the midst of a battle when the Syndicate knocks him into the building where the Super Trans meeting is occurring. After this, the characters in the support group fight the Syndicate and end up winning. How? With those stupid power bases. All in all, the more you read LGBTD, the more you wish you would have actively gone out of your way to avoid it. I did. Again, this is entirely unpleasant, but as dreadful as the story is, LGBT and the super trans support group certainly aren't as low as Marvel can go. The woke company can always find new ways to go even further. The question is, what new depths of awfulness will they sink to next? Well, this type of crap isn't new. It's not going away, and it's now the regular thing with Marvel. So they got to insert this woke shit all the time. It's how they ruin the X-Men, too. Stuff makes everyone mad. Nobody buys this crap. Pity girl, yeah. Good arson like Antifa? Yeah, they're fiery but mostly peaceful. To make this more realistic, should the adult hero teacher be trying to bang their underage kids? Probably. They'll save that for the miniseries, I'm sure. Because that's all Marvel has anymore. They're not regular books. They're just all ready to be canceled on a moment's notice. So fucking lazy. We do have some good news, though. Which probably isn't going to end up being good news, but I'm actually slightly interested in this project. This is from Deadline. Max Headroom Reboot starring Matt Frewer in works at AMC Networks from Christopher Cantwell and Elijah Wood's Spectre Vision. You may remember Max Headroom from the short-lived TV series. Or the incident where somebody broke into the Chicago broadcast station and wore a Max Headroom mask. It's actually probably more remembered than the Max Headroom show. The 1980s pop culture mainstay and like Pepsi commercials. As plotting a comeback, AMC Networks is developing a Max Headroom drama series reboot with Matt Frewer set to reprise his role as the world's first artificial intelligence TV personality. Yeah, he had the personality of a guy that got killed. Halt and Catch Fire co-creator Christopher Cantwell is writing the adaptation and is attached as showrunner for the project, which is produced by Elijah Wood and Daniel Noah's Spectre Vision and All 3 Media. Known for biting commentary and quick wit and manic glitching, the supposedly computer-generated TV host placed by Frewer was first introduced in the 1985 British cyberpunk TV movie Max Headroom 20 Minutes into the Future. He became an instant pop culture phenom and went on to host a music video show starring ads for New Coke. Oh, it's Coke. Appear on the cover of Newsweek and headline his own primetime series. Max Headroom aired on ABC for 2 seasons from 87 to 88. At that point, the character's massive popularity started to wane, but he remained a cult favorite with frequent pop culture references on shows including BoJack Horseman and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Selena Gomez's music video for Love You Like a Love Song, which she looked very cute in that video. Cantwell, Frewer, and Lisa Wayland executive produced the reboot with Spectre Vision's Wood and Noah. This marks the return of the 1980s and AMC for Cantwell, who co-created and executive produced and co-show ran the PC drama Halt and Catch Fire. So, yeah, they're bringing Max Headroom back. Could be good, or it could be really fucking dumb. I'm hoping it's good. but we'll have to wait and see. So we'll see how that plays out. My sinuses are kicking my butt today. In other news, IDW still has the Godzilla license. They just wrapped up a crossover with the Power Rangers, which I have sitting here and haven't read yet. Looked pretty good, actually. But IDW is going to publish a second kid-friendly Godzilla limited series. This might actually be fun. Godzilla Monsters and Protectors All Hail the King to launch in October. IDW has announced its second middle grade Godzilla title by writer Eric Burnham. Artist Dan Schoening and colorist Luis Antonio Delgado will launch in October. 5-issue limited series is a follow-up to last year's Godzilla Monsters and Protectors, which was collected as a graphic novel, Godzilla's Monsters and Protectors Rise Up. First issue of the series had sales of 19,632 copies through Diamond, and the graphic novel was number 23 on Diamond's list for March. That's actually really good numbers for IDW. Godzilla Monsters and Protectors All Hail the King is set a year after the last series with no more Godzilla sightings. The traffic on the main character Cedric's vlog is dwindling. The new story arc presents new challenges, including cyberbullying. Like the first series, has a theme of environmental destruction. First issue will be released in October with 3 covers. I don't care who did them. So there you go. If you've got kids that like Godzilla, this might be up their alley. Yeah, TOS, I remember Max Headroom was huge for like a year, and that was about it. And then people got sick of it because he started showing up everywhere. All the commercials and goofy shit. TV show kind of got lost in the shuffle. And that's a shame because it was kind of ahead of its time on the TV movie as far as like internet activity and popularity and broadcasting, that sort of thing. It really was kind of ahead of its time on that front. All right, let's talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi's love of swordplay. This is a new prequel novel out. Max Burnout, yeah, pretty much. New Star Wars Padawan prequel novel implies Obi-Wan Kenobi is bisexual because everybody at Disney is super gay now. In the latest example of Disney's almost fetishistic desire to both retcon Star Wars continuity and lazily identity swap the numerous classic pop culture icons that have come under their ownership in recent years, the upcoming prequel era novel Star Wars Padawan features a moment that implies that Obi-Wan Kenobi is bisexual. He's like, "Let me light your lightsaber." Written by YA fiction author Kirsten White, perhaps best known for her Paranormalcy series, Star Wars Padawan is set during the early years of Obi-Wan's training under Qui-Gon Jinn and finds the young Jedi running off without his master to undertake an official Jedi mission after growing restless with the slower, more mindful parts of his training. Now, you should have known this was going to have a lot of gay stuff in it when you saw YA fiction author, because there's a lot of that stuff going on in YA. Like, it's one of their favorite things is to have a whole lot of gay stuff. Obi-Wan Kenobi really wants to be a good Padawan, reads the synopsis of the novel. The best Padawan, even. But that's feeling more and more impossible with his new master, Qui-Gon Jinn. All of Obi-Wan's friends are off training to be real Jedi, getting mission experience, while he's still on Coruscant, practicing his forms and sitting in quiet contemplation. Ever since Qui-Gon's former master Dooku left the Order, it feels like Qui-Gon has been too busy trying to connect with the Force or arguing with the Jedi Council to properly train his Padawan. When Obi-Wan finally convinces Qui-Gon to take him on a mission, On a remote planet once explored by an ancient Jedi, his master doesn't show up the morning they are to leave, so Qui-Gon impulsively takes off by himself. Oh, that art is shit. What is that? How long is that thing? Like, that's supposed to be a sword handle. Like, really? He needs two hands for that? Is that a penis reference? That doesn't even look like... Okay, whatever. The synopsis concludes upon arriving at the mysterious lush planet. He encounters a group of teenagers with no adult supervision. And who all seem to have some connection to the Force. Free from the constraints of the Order, Obi-Wan joins them in their daring adventures. But the Padawan side of him keeps questioning the teen's strange relationship to the Force and how the verdant planet around them and what all of it might mean to his future. Obi-Wan will test the limits of his relationship to the Jedi and the Force in this exciting yet soulful exploration of one of Star Wars' most enduring heroes. God, this even sounds boring. Ugh. It's like lame Lord of the Flies. Though Padawan is set to officially hit stores July 26th. Ooh, that was a few days ago. Copies of the book began to sprout up in the public at least 4 days prior to this official release date. With the novel in hand, eager readers soon discovered that the novel features a scene which saw the future Jedi legend questioning his sexuality, considering the possibility that he is either bisexual and or asexual. Oh, the favorite go-to of young adult authors, bisexuality and asexuality. Someone who has little to no interest in sex after being hit on by a male ally. I feel funny in my tummy and my no-nos. As shared by Twitter user Iwan on July 22nd, the moment occurs during a rhetorical discussion on love and romance between Obi-Wan and the aforementioned teenager, Casul. Taken aback by the latter's warning that another of the teenagers is not romantically available, Obi-Wan informs Casul, "I can't form attachments like that anyway." Yeah, let's read some of this. And besides, Obi-Wan said, rushing to change the subject for himself more than anyone, "I never want to be in a relationship with a leader, too close to politicians or royalty. I'm sure if I ever fell in love, it would be with someone calm, peaceful, easy to get along with." "So you want someone who doesn't challenge you?" Obi-Wan laughed and shrugged. "I don't know what I want, if we're being honest." Casul mirrored his shrug. "Not many choices around here. I don't think love is in my future either, and I'm fine with that. As long as I have the power to keep my family safe, that's enough for me. Though I will admit I've been curious about kissing and why Eju and Zaybiri enjoy it so much. So if you're ever curious too, let me know." Obi-Wan blushed. "I will let you know, I mean. Not that I will do that right now with you or anyone." Yeah, this is dog shit writing. You hack. People should ignore this because it's shit, not just because it's like trying to change a character. Could he though? If he didn't go back, he questions himself. Was that something he could ever want? It had always been so forbidden, even thinking about it, like holding his right hand next to his lightsaber blade. He knew some of his friends had dabbled in physical relationships. Suspected Siri would have been open to it had he ever wanted to. "Oh, Siri, really? You're banging your Amazon talk box? Good job." Obi-Wan continued referencing his previous attraction to fellow Jedi Siri Tachi, but it always seemed like an obstacle, not a temptation. Yes, this creepy old man was all about the dude wiener. Besides, Obi-Wan said, rushing to... I just read it to you. Turning inward once again, Obi-Wan questions, would he ever get to a point where kissing someone felt like something less than a betrayal of himself and the Jedi? My God, this person has daddy issues. And if he did get to that point, would he ever want to kiss the Laherans, the species of which Casul and his friends belong? We're confident. Sorry. I told you sinuses are flaring. Gross. I'm allergic to bad writing, apparently. It just goes on and on. This is just dog shit. Notably, this vague hint that Obi-Wan is either bi or asexual is yet another example of modern Hollywood using the absence of evidence. Expect to see defenders of this abrupt change likely arguing that this moment could still make sense to the character, as though he never outright denied his attraction to men or was seen as being physical with either Siri or Satine Cruz. To confirm an established character as a surprise member of the LGBT community in order to virtue signal the most vocal sex of social media progressives. Yeah, what this is lazy self-inserts and pandering. And they keep it mildly vague so they can say, oh, well, he might have been. And then you get a bunch of people shipping their favorites as being whatever they want to be. It's fan fiction. It's lazy fan fiction. Thank you, Mike. And nobody. This is just awful writing. It's just the laziest thing. This is not character development. Oh, thank you, Frank. How in the hell can you both sexually attracted to both sexes and nobody at the same time? Makes absolutely no sense. They don't need it to make sense. They don't. They just write it to pander to a bunch of teenage idiots who will be like, oh, it's so awesome. My fanfic came to life. Also, thank you, Frank. Also, this writing is horrible fanfic. Absolutely. We're on the same page on that one, buddy. This is just dog shit. Make sure I didn't get anyone when I bopped the bot. I don't think you did. Dirty Talking Jack. Yeah, you have to read it that way because it's so stupid. No, it looks like you're good. Thanks for hitting him. Whenever you see one of those sex bots, just hide them. Just go to the option to hide them. Don't just time them out because they'll just keep coming back. Gobbledygook, right? It's a bunch of gibberish talk by a bunch of smooth-brained babies. These are grown adults that act like teenage girls. It's really sad, and it's pathetic on so many levels and makes us weaker as a society. Not that I'm angry about it. But we are at that time again. If you're enjoying the show, please hit the like button. Share on your social media. Subscribe if you haven't. If you're feeling generous, you can toss me a couple bucks at the Streamlabs link. Move the bots and report them. Cool. Yeah, because they're just spamming porn. Nobody wants that shit here. We're talking about cool stuff like comic books. Ain't got time for relationship nonsense. We'll look at boobies later. We already know where to find free porn. It's the internet. Idiots. All right. Let's talk about Evil Dead. CBR is reporting. Bruce Campbell says Evil Dead Rise is so good it's eyeing a theatrical release. Evil Dead Rise was originally set to release on HBO Max, but Bruce Campbell claimed the film's preview had such high ratings that the suits are discussing a theatrical release instead. At the San Diego Comic-Con, Campbell sat down with CBR to discuss the Evil Dead franchise, where he talked about upcoming projects. The producer mentioned Evil Dead Rise may get a theatrical release. We just had a preview that was very high ratings. There was potentially going to be to stream it on HBO Max, but it might get a theatrical release maybe in the fall. If they do it around October, that'd be the time to do it. Campbell claimed this film would have major differences from the rest of the franchise. It's an urban version of Evil Dead now. The producer said, ain't no cabin anymore. We're going single mom in the city. The apartment is the cabin. He claimed the writer and director Lee Cronin did a great job with the film. It's going to creep your shit out, the producer said. Evil Dead Rise is the fifth film in the franchise's development for the movie officially began in October 2021. Executive producer Sam Raimi had planned to make another Evil Dead movie with Campbell, but the actor had retired his role as Ash. He's just too old and fat. Although the TV show was pretty fun. The two were executive producers on the film while handling creative control over to Cronin and producer Robert G. Tapper. Filming for the movie finished in October 2021 and was set to release on HBO Max. Raimi, Tappert, and Campbell collaborated on the original 1981 Evil Dead film. Evil Dead 2 was better. It was basically a redo of the first movie, but it's technically not according to canon, which is kind of dumb. But Evil Dead 2 is better film. Evil Dead 1 is more of a horror movie, but Evil Dead 2 had better production. Critical reception for the movie was relatively positive and is considered one of the most influential cult films in the horror movie genre. Raimi and Campbell continued to work on various projects, including the Spider-Man trilogy in the early 2000s. The fourth Evil Dead film was released in 2012 and served as a soft reboot for the series, providing a path for the TV series Ash vs. Evil Dead, which also starred Campbell. The TV series was fun. Campbell's most recent work has included acting as the voice of Ash Williams in the Evil Dead the Game. That's the newest game, not the one from like PlayStation 1. Although that game was cool too. He also played a small role in the recent Doctor Strange. Nobody cares. Evil Dead will release in 2022. So if you get a chance to check it out, it might be in the movie theater, but it almost certainly hit HBO Max after that. But if they put it in the theater, I might go see it then. Morning, Pat. Yeah, it's going to involve a single mom. I think they're going for just a completely different setup to try and spice it up a little bit. And I'm okay with that as long as it's fun. Yeah, Army of Darkness was probably, for a long time, my favorite. Evil Dead 2 is a better movie, but Army of Darkness was goofier and more fun. And the TV series, I think, was a nice combination of the two. Kind of tied it all together. If you haven't seen the TV show, I highly recommend it. There weren't that many episodes. I think it was, 3 or 4 seasons? But it was fun. I think it's on one of the streaming services, too. Anyway. All right. Let's talk about another reboot. 3 seasons? Okay. It's worth watching, though. Lucy Lawless is in it, too. Over at People Magazine, Disney Plus unveils National Treasure teaser trailer at Comic-Con. It's a different world now. And you know why? Because it's super woke. Yeah, Nicolas Cage isn't in this at all. Get ready, kids. This is going to be dog shit. National Treasure Edge of History is almost here. On Thursday at San Diego Comic-Con, Disney Plus released the first teaser trailer for the new series, giving fans of the 2000s National Treasure movies starring Nicolas Cage their first glimpse at the new lead character Jess, played by newcomer Lizette Oliveira, who is kind of cute. The trailer, which runs for only 17 seconds, features Jess' shadow as she enters a room and approaches a bulletin board filled with maps and other notes before a quick succession of visuals gives way to the face reveal. A release date is not provided, but Disney noted the series will be streaming soon. Disney Plus also announced that actor Harvey Keitel will reprise his role as FBI agent Peter Sandusky from the original film in a guest role on the 10-episode series, according to Deadline. Justin Bartha, who starred in 2004's National Treasure and the other one, also returns for the new series in a guest role per Deadline. In the original movies, Bartha, 44, played Riley Poole, Ben Cage's friend and ally on his quest to find blah, 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 blah. We know. It's a different world now. Exploring American history was a lot different 20 years ago and as a young guy on set at the time, he said. In National Treasure, Edge of History, Jess, a 23-year-old dreamer, so she's an illegal immigrant, sets off on a Pan-American treasure adventure, Oliveira said in the new behind-the-scenes featurette. The adventure promises to uncover secrets about her family's mysterious past and fittingly save a lost treasure along the way. Beyond Oliveira, Zuri Reed stars as Tessa, Jess's best friend. Antonio Chipper plays Oren, Tasha's love interest. Jordan Rodriguez plays Ethan, Jess's childhood friend and love interest. And Jake Austin Walker plays Liam, a musician with treasure hunting in his familial background. Ooh, that's an exciting group. Catherine Zeta-Jones also appears in the series as villain Billy Pierce. who the 52-year-old actress described as a black market antiquity dealer who plays a cat and mouse game with Jess. Doesn't this sound a lot like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? John Turteltaub also directed blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there's an illegal immigrant dreamer who's going around looting American treasure. Got it. Kind of a metaphor for real life. So you come here illegally, take a bunch of stuff that belongs to America in the form of treasure, probably your education, healthcare, various other things. Yeah, makes total sense to me. Very of its times. So yeah, I guess things have changed a lot in 20 years. Rather see a Carmen Sandiego movie? Yeah. Like the chick's hot, that doesn't save it from being woke trash. So there you go. National Treasure is now dreamers stealing loot from America. Yay. While we're on the subject of wokeness, because unfortunately that seems to be a theme these days, Star Wars hits grand slam of woke identity politics, casts black, lesbian, and non-binary intersectional feminist Amadla Stenberg as the Alcolyte series lead. She looks like she's 12. Hey, look at this. Look at this modern hero right here. Mary Sue with the side of her head shaved. I read the first issue of this because this takes place in the High Republic. Total Mary Sue. In confirmation of a previous rumor first suggested by film scooper Grace Randolph, Disney's upcoming High Republic era live-action Star Wars series, The Alcolyte, has found its lead, the black, lesbian, and non-binary actor and intersectional feminist Amadla Sandberg. I don't know how you can be a lesbian and non-binary. That makes no sense to me. Stenberg, whatever her name is, recently appeared as Alana Beck in the cinematic adaptation of Dear Evan Hansen, and is perhaps best known for starring as Rue in the first Hunger Games film. Was revealed as the next actor to helm a Disney Plus Star Wars series on July 22nd, courtesy of the brand's official Twitter account. Sharing a photo of Beck dressed in Darth Maul jersey and standing next to a replica of R2-D2, the Star Wars account tweeted, "Join us in welcoming whatever her name is to the Star Wars galaxy." This is a terrible photo. Is this a Polaroid? It's all washed out and there's too much light on her. This is from 1975? Come on. The brand's tweet also included a link to an Instagram post made by Stenberg on her own account in celebration of the news. You're literally comparing yourself to Darth Vader. You could fuck right off. Next stop, a galaxy far, far away where they could shit on Star Wars some more. In addition to acting, Stenberg has carved a name out for herself in the intersectional feminist activist. Her previous activist activities include engaging in such activities as attempting to organize a workshop on feminism, specifically how mainstream feminist movements have continuously excluded women who are not white, thin, cisgendered, able-bodied, neurotypical, and even co-written a comic book, Niobe. She is life. She has gone on to be praised as exemplary piece of identity politics-fueled art. Look, that's just a self-portrait. Literally, that is a self-portrait from this image right here. That's her. So unoriginal. Whilst details regarding the Alcolyte's plight currently remain scarce, including just which Disney creation Stenberg will be playing, though her appearance suggests she may portray High Republic Marvel comic series protagonist Keeve Trennis. That's this Mary Sue right here. Showrunner Leslie Headland confirmed to Vanity Fair in an interview published in May that the series would be taking a look at political and personal and spiritual things that can't come up in a time period that we don't know much about. So it's going to be more woke bullshit. Yeah, she had to have the two-handed or the two-bladed sword because I'm the best ever. My question when watching The Phantom Menace was always like, well, how did things get to this point? She detailed. How did we get to a point where the Sith Lord can infiltrate the Senate and none of the Jedi pick up on it? Maybe because they're sneaky? I don't know. Seemed like a good point to me. Like, what went wrong? There's bad people everywhere? Where are the scenarios that led us to this moment? Did anybody ask for that? No. In the prequels, Mace Windu says, there's no way that the Sith could have reemerged without us knowing about it. Well, people are bad at their jobs. And Yoda said, hard to see the dark side is. Yeah, because they're sneaky. Or at least hidden from them for so long. What I wondered was, that particular period, who is it practicing it? Ugh, this is just lazy. Lazy, unoriginal, poor writing hacks. I don't think necessarily excludes men from that space. Listen, I relate to male characters all the time, like I root for Mando, like I root for Luke. I like deeply, well, not sure how much I care about Han Solo anymore. What I was like, really, I liked him. When I watch him now, it's kind of like, gosh, a lot of my psyche makes sense now. Okay. All joking aside, I think that this is the intellectual big brain that's writing this shit. All joking aside, I think that an inclusive space means an inclusive space, but at the same time, I think that just because something has a female protagonist doesn't mean it's only meant for women. Well, she's not a woman, she's non-binary, dum-dum. Also, yeah, but Laura Croft was relatable and interesting. Most female protagonists, the chick from Aliens, was relatable. I've been up all night, leave me alone. She is relatable because she's an everyman. Anybody can identify with her. This is not. I'm non-binary, lesbian, and I munch carpets on Thursdays. Nobody fucking cares about where you stick your junk. That is not a character trait. That is just a biological thing. Nobody cares about your weirdo gender shit. That is not a personality. It is one aspect, a tiny aspect of your life. Your entire personality shouldn't be based on where you're rubbing your goods. Is that what a woman is? Who knows anymore? It means whatever they mean it to mean today. Sorry, Evil One, they're never bringing Gina back. So there you go. More woke trash coming down the pike on the Star Wars train. Did you guys see that movie Elvis? Heard it was pretty good. But we got some news on that front. Because Elvis actress Shanka Dunkray found dead in Nashville apartment. Nashville musician who portrayed singer Big Mama Thornton in the recent Elvis film has died. Duncan was found dead in her Nashville apartment where she lived with her 2 young children, the Metro Nashville Police Department said in a statement. Damn it. Stop jumping. Police said just before 9:30, the 44-year-old Duncan was found unresponsive in a bedroom by one of her children. The child ran to a neighbor's apartment for help. No foul play is suspected, although an autopsy will determine the exact cause of death. She was real big in Nashville, apparently, so it's kind of sad because she didn't look real healthy in the movie, if you know what I'm saying. Kind of chubby. But it's always sad when somebody dies unexpectedly, and she wasn't very old, 44. So, yeah, kind of a shame. But, yeah, she was a pretty popular singer, I guess. And, yeah, she was overweight. So, sad. She just up and died. That's fucking horrible. She was huge, yeah. Feel bad for the kids because they were pretty young. So, if you saw her in that movie, that's probably the last time that you're going to see her. Like I said, I've heard really good things about the movie. I kind of want to see it. The guy doesn't look much like Elvis, but I've heard the performances are really good. And it's weird that Tom Hanks gave the Colonel this weird accent when the guy didn't really have that. So I don't know. But we're not done talking about gender weirdos. Don't think that we shifted focus from that just because I told you some sad news that I forgot to tell you at the beginning of the show. It's a really depressing stream. I'm sorry. Hey, how do you hate Elvis? Are you a communist? It's like hating Johnny Cash. Do you hate Johnny Cash too? What town were you raised in over in Mother Russia? comrade. Anyway, overbounding again. Marvel Comics makes yet another sexuality swap, confirms Rachel Summer and Psylocke as bisexual couple in latest issue of Knights of 10. Yeah. Two very straight women historically are now super gay. This art is dog shit. Look at that. Look at that face. That's nightmare fuel. Her forehead is gigantic. Ugh. I mean, I know she's British, so they're probably inbred, but fuck's sake. That's actually not a bad cover. It's too bad the interior arts get sucked donkey balls. The Marvel Comics' latest attempt to distract readers from their book's abysmal quality with a transparent attempt at pandering, the latest issue of Knights of 10 has revealed the longtime XMen members Betsy Psylocke Braddock and Rachel Marvel Girl Prestige Summers are not only bisexual, but also wish to explore their newfound sexualities with each other. Because it's all fan fiction now. Penned by Teenie Howard, big shocker there, with art by Bob Quinn, who needs to go back to art school. Eric, I don't know who these other fucker people are. Knights of 10 follows the exploits of the Epitomous team as they attempt to fight back against King Arthur and Merlin's recent coup of Otherworld, as well as track down the Siege Perilous, powerful artifact which allows one to be given a new life free from any connections of their past to give them an edge in the fight. Assembled by Betsy in her current identity as Captain Britain, because remember they sidelined her brother, Captain Britain, so she could do it. So because why have a stupid straight white man in their role? Got to replace them all. The roster of the 616's latest mutant team includes Megan Braddock. Richter, Megan is married to the real Captain Britain. Richter, Gambit, Shatterstar, Shogo Lee, Bai, Kylun, a young and resurrected incarnation of Mordred, and Rachel. So, like, half the team's gay now. Well, an attraction between Betsy and Rachel had been hinted at throughout all three of Howard's previous released issues of Knights of X, such as when the two expressed worry over each other's conditions amidst a battle against King Arthur's Sentinel-inspired Furies in issue 3. This fact was not officially confirmed until the series' 4th issue. While following Gambit's death at the hands of Merlin, gotta kill off them straight white dudes. At the conclusion of the previous issue, Knights of X4 finds the team retreating from the fight to the Mercator, where the Siege Perilous has become the land itself and forces them to face their innermost selves in order to escape the wizard and regroup. Oh my god, this is such great writing. Unfortunately, upon their arrival, the team soon finds itself in the grips of the Mercator, with each member experiencing an individual hallucination relating to their sense of self. Everyone except Rachel, who is, after being informed by a vision of the team's otherworld ally, Geraldine. Oh, God, I'm tired. That says she needs you. Races off to break from her teammates free from the realm's hold over their minds. She needs me. Oh my God. We're in love. Suddenly, that looks like a teenage boy from a bad 80s movie. All right, this just gets worse. Choosing actions over words, Rachel responds by pulling Betsy in for a passionate kiss. Sorry, are those rainbow butterflies? Asks Rachel as she takes notice of their surroundings. Bit on the nose, Rach, jokes Betsy back, only for Absalom Mercantor himself to reveal that those are with me, apologizing for the interruption and warn them of Merlin's oncoming approach. Oh, this has never been done before. God, it's so lazy. Should be noted that prior to Knights of X, Rachel has never shown any explicit romantic or sexual interest in women. Though iconic X-Men writer Chris Claremont had admitted that he intended to canonize the relationship between Kitty Pryde and Rachel during his run with Marvel's Merry Band of Mutants, this development never came to pass. I don't believe that either. I think they're making him say that. Most recently, the subject of Rachel and Nightcrawler's mutual attraction to each other was established by Claremont in his 2004 return to Uncanny X-Men, was touched upon in X-Men Gold Volume 2, where the two entered into a brief relationship before the former broke things off. Likewise, Betsy has always been depicted as straight, with one complicated exception. As many remember, during her tenure as Wolverine's revived X-Force Black Ops team, the X-Man turned hero of the British Isles found herself falling madly in love with one of her teammates, Phantom X. Sadly, during a confrontation between X-Force and Mystique's then newly revived Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, the French mutant is killed after sacrificing himself to the Skinless Man in order to allow Betsy to escape his clutches. Of course, this being the world of comic books and the world of X-Men in particular, Phantom X soon got over his briefcase of being dead. Shortly after defeating the Brotherhood, X-Force takes a detour to the White Skies criminal organization Cloud cloning facility and proceeds to use their technology to revive the Gentleman Mutant. However, thanks to Deadpool's premature starting of the cloning process, the Cloud reads Phantom X's unique 3-in-1 brain as belonging to a respective amount of individuals instead of a single person. So it split him into 3. Even this art shit. It's from 2012 when they were just starting up this nonsense. Thus, the Frenchman was reborn in 3 separate bodies as Phantom X, Lady Phantom X, and Dark Phantom X, respectively, each embodying a different aspect. I'm just going to keep going. The strange splitting of Phantom X's person soon led to confusion within Betsy, accelerated in no small part by Phantom X, who manipulated her emotions in order to allow her to use her as a scapegoat for his criminal plans, and thanks to her love of Phantom X as a whole, found herself having feelings for each individual manifestation of the personality. This is some weird mental shit. This was back when Betsy was in the Asian body, not in her real body. The entire unorthodox nature of Phantom X splitting itself leaves the question of Betsy's sexuality in question. That's a great sentence. While Betsy did engage in physical and emotional relationship with a woman, it was pursued more out of their initial love of the original version of Phantom X rather than any inherent lesbian feelings. Again, it's complicated. Not really. They were starting this woke shit back then. Woke stuff's been around for a long time. It just hasn't been fully mainstreamed, and the X books have been dog shit for 20 years. If you don't believe me, fight me in Knoxville. Nah, I don't care. Deadpool looks like shit. Yeah. X-Men don't die now. Yeah, they're all immortal. Why can't anyone write anymore? Because they're lazy and shitty writers work cheap. So there you go. We got even more converted lesbians. I'm pretty sure that 3/4 of the Marvel Universe is at minimum bisexual. So you might remember a while ago, somebody got shot walking Lady Gaga's dogs. Well, marshals offer $5,000 reward for info on suspect accused of taking Lady Gaga's dogs. James Howard Jackson allegedly shot her dog walker and stole the 2 dogs. Nobody gives a shit about the dog walker, apparently. Marshals are now offering a $5,000 reward for information on the whereabouts of a suspect who allegedly kidnapped Lady Gaga's dogs. Oh, yeah, and shot some dude. And it was later mistakenly released from jail. Whoopsie. The U.S. Marshal Service said that 19-year-old James Howard Jackson was erroneously released from jail due to a clerical error on April 6th of this year. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department Major Crimes Team has requested the U.S. Marshal Service assistance to find and arrest Jackson. Jackson should be considered armed and dangerous. Yeah, he shot a dude. Let's not forget that. He shot a man who they also tried to blame as stealing the dogs, by the way. They kind of shuffled that one under the rug. Jackson allegedly shot dog walker Ryan Fisher with a .40 caliber handgun in February 2021 and stole 2 of the singer's valuable French bulldogs in Hollywood. That said, dude got shot. Fisher was hospitalized but survived the attack. Lady Gaga's dogs were safely returned. Jalen White, 19, and Lafayette Whaley, 27, were also charged alongside Jackson with 1 count of attempted murder, conspiracy to commit robbery, and second-degree robbery. Jackson is described as a black male with black hair and brown eyes. He's around 5'6" and weighs about 120 pounds. So if you know where this dude is, you could make it easy $5,000. Not because he shot a dude, but because somebody touched Lady Gaga's doggies. They were planning on blackmailing, I guess, for the dog, and they tried to insinuate the dude that got shot was in on it, but he wasn't. He was just some dude paid to walk the dogs. Did do nothing. This asshole is more known for stealing the dogs than he is for shooting a man. So, yeah, easy $5,000 if you know where that dude's hiding. Turn him in, get a Crime Stoppers reward. Frenchie's most affected, yeah. Yeah, fuck that dude. Think about the doggies, right? I love dogs too, don't get me wrong. But let's not forget, this guy is wanted for shooting someone. Kidnapping the dogs is bad enough, but he shot a man so he could kidnap the dogs. That's unhinged. So yeah, keep an eye out for that dude. Get yourself a sweet, sweet Crime Stoppers reward. Meanwhile, Harry Potter actor says rude Arnold Schwarzenegger farted in her face on set. He did it deliberately. Well, yeah, I mean, you look like a man. Oh, thank you, Keldreg. Just tuned into the stream. Have talked about the weirdly defensive EVS and Comicsgate Razor Fist has been. No, I really haven't been following any of the Comicsgate drama. But yeah, I heard that EVS was being defended by Razor Fist. I don't know why. EVS is a year and a half late on his book, which is just now going to printer, which conveniently times with his Second Chance campaign, which he's already raised $151,000 on. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think he's just so caught up in the desire for alternatives to Marvel and DC. You're back in the wrong ponies, dude. I don't trust EVS at all. I think he's lazy and doesn't care about delivering on the backer. He really does seem to believe that he's entitled to your money and you're backing him, and the comic book is a bonus, as he said. So I don't give a shit about EVS. I don't think about him because he's not getting my money. Harry Potter actor Miriam Margolyes revealed on the I've Got News for You podcast that she disliked working with Arnold Schwarzenegger on the 1999 supernatural action movie End of Days. Surprisingly fun film, by the way. Schwarzenegger allegedly farted on Margolyes' face in between filming takes. Margolyes said Schwarzenegger deliberately did it, and she still hasn't forgiven him. Lady, it's been 23 years. Get over it, you weirdo. Yeah, it was a rude thing to do. He was probably trying to be funny. Suck it up. Fart huffers. He's a bit too full of himself, and I don't care for him at all. He's a Republican, which I don't like, Margolyes said of Schwarzenegger. He was actually quite rude. He farted in my face. Now, I fart, of course, I do, but I don't fart in people's faces. He did it deliberately right in my face. Well, you sound like a pain in the ass. Yeah, this is Comicsgate, like Fauci is the science. Yeah, well, he nominated himself King of Comicsgate, and he pushed everyone out. So, because he has celebrity status. So he pushed out Captain Cummings, Englentine, and Nurkish, and a bunch of other people, and that pissed me off. How's this news? Because this lady's a whiner. I don't know. Arnold Schwarzenegger gave her a drive-by. Yeah, pretty much. I was playing Satan's sister, and he was killing me, so he had me in the position where I couldn't escape, lying on the floor, and he just farted. It wasn't on film. It was in one of the pauses, but I haven't forgiven him for it. God, talk about holding a grudge. End of Days was a pretty fun film, but this lady needs to grow the fuck up. You could come down from the cross now, right? It's always hard to get that last nail in. Fucking people. All right, I know there's a new movie out called Where the Crawdads Sing. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's about this girl that lives alone in the Everglades or some shit. And she's involved in some sort of murder or whatever. Well, I guess some things are a little more true to life than we're expected to believe, because the person that wrote the book, Delia Owens, is wanted for questioning in a murder. Possible spoilers for the book? I don't really give a fuck. It looks like a teen drama, like a Nicholas Sparks kind of thing. Movie adaptation of the best-selling Where the Crawdads Sing hits theaters Friday. This is a little old. The author's connection to a murder in Zambia that's nearly 3 decades old shared the spotlight with opening day. Delia Owens, 73, is wanted for questioning in the deadly shooting of an alleged poacher back in the 90s, a slaying that was captured on video and broadcast on American television, The Atlantic reported. It's been described as a literal snuff film. The alleged shooter is Owens' stepson, Jeffrey Goldberg, wrote in a 2010 New York expose titled The Hunted. Authorities believe that Owens and her then husband, Mark Owens, could be accomplices who helped cover up the murder and may have been involved in other crimes as part of their conservation efforts in the southern African country. Convenient. The disturbing revelations don't appear to have overshadowed the film and may have helped promote it. PR guru Judah, who cares? It created more buzz. Yeah, murder always does. People like blood. Owens became a literary superstar with the 2018 release of her debut novel about Kaya, a young girl in the 1960s who's forced to raise herself in the marshes of North Carolina. She is shunned by society and outcast, trying to survive on her own. She's like Nell, but she speaks perfect English. When the body of a local big shot, Chase Andrews, is discovered in the marshes, Kaya is portrayed as a kind woman who is unjustly arrested and tried for his murder, but ultimately acquitted. Spoilers. The two were once lovers, and once he had tried to no touch her goods weeks before his death. In a stunning twist, readers learn on the final pages that she lured him to Mars and actually did kill him. Murderous bitch. She got away with it. The book has sold more than 12 million copies and spent 166 weeks at the New York Times bestsellers list. I'd rather see the movie version. The song by Taylor Swift I thought was pretty catchy, actually. So Delia Owens and Mark Owens were conservationists in Africa who penned 3 memoirs about their wildlife adventures. In the mid-90s, they lived in Zambia's North Lungawa National Park, running a conservation center that protected elephants from poachers. Mark Owens came to command a unit of 60 game scouts that hunted poachers, buying their loyalty with guns, gear, and money. That is a good way to do it. According to Goldberg, who is now the editor-in-chief at The Atlantic, the scouts operated outside the oversight of Zambian government and answered to Mark Owens, saluting him when they approached, with some even calling him dad. So he is a gang leader. The couple's imperialistic and paternalistic relationship with the locals conjures up visions of Kurtz in Heart of Darkness, which is iconic given the novella's central characters an ivory trader. The scouts beat suspected poachers and tied them to stakes, letting them bake in the sun. That sounds like kidnapping and torture. Suspected poachers, they didn't have any evidence. They just were abducting people. Some of them were probably innocent. Mark Owens' child from a previous marriage, Christopher Owens, visited in the summer and was tasked with training the scouts in hand-to-hand combat. A critic of the couples characterized their attitude toward the region as nice constant, pity about the Africans, Goldberg wrote. Mark Owens even bragged about killing poachers, an allegation he and his wife have vehemently denied. They probably killed some people. To date, I have flown 8 airborne anti-poaching operations over your area, including 4 in which I inserted scouts on ambush, Owens allegedly wrote to a local friend, according to a letter obtained by Goldberg. 2 poachers have been killed and 1 wounded that I know of thus far, and we are just getting warmed up. The couple was subject of an ABC's episode Turning Point called Deadly Game. Goldberg, in an essay published in The Atlantic last week, called the documentary a typical white savior story about 2 good-looking Americans on a mission to save elephants from greedy poachers and corrupt African officials. They're not good-looking. He looks like an Amish man. They're very incredibly average to ugly people. The ABC crew was accompanying Mark Owens' son, then 25, and a scout as they patrolled for poachers in 1995. Mark and Delia Owens were not present. The group ambushed a suspected poacher when he returned to his campsite, with Christopher Owens allegedly firing the first shot. After the first shot, the tape started rolling. The victim is shown collapsing to the ground and struggling to lift his head when a thin scout, his face blurred, fired at him again, according to Goldberg, who obtained the video. The bodies of the poachers were often left where they fell for the animals to eat. Yeah, that's a good cover-up. conservation, morality, Africa. Then the camera zoomed in on an injured man as 3 more shots were fired from outside the frame, causing the man's body to jerk before he goes still. After the killing was televised in the US, the Zambian government was outraged and launched a homicide investigation, like they should. The Owenses fled the country, never to return. Well, that doesn't look like you're guilty. Maybe we should extradite these people to Zambia. Then Detective Bembe Mazul, that's a cool name, concluded that Christopher Owen killed the alleged poster. ABC cameraman Chris Everson, who filmed the murder, later confirmed this to Goldberg. He told Goldberg that Mark Owens had dropped him off along with the scout and Christopher Owens and at the remote location to look for poachers. They soon came across an empty campsite where they laid in wait. That's premeditated murder. When the suspect poacher returned, Christopher Owens opened fire before the camera started rolling, dropping the victim to the ground. He was standing off camera when he fired the final 3 shots. His face is not shown in the footage. The cameraman was there. He knows who fired the shot. It's something that never should have happened, said Everson, who didn't report the killing to Zambian officials. A lot of corruption in Zambia. It might not have been a good idea. After the murder, Mark Owens arrived by helicopter, put the body in the aircraft's cargo net, and dumped it in the ocean, according to Mazul. Mark Owens has vehemently denied the claim. Mazul, now a senior police officer, criticized the ABC's decision not to report the killing or cooperate with the investigation and called the crew's accomplices. I won't go that far. They're witnesses. The scout is an accomplice, but I don't know about the camera guys. Zambian authorities told The Atlantic that the case remains open and Mark, Delia, and Christopher Owens are all wanted for questioning in connection to the murder and for other possible criminal conduct. There's no statute of limitations on murder in Zambia. The country's chief prosecutor, Lillian something, told the magazine they're all wanted for questioning in this case, including Delia Owens. Officials say Delia Owens may be a witness, co-conspirator, or accessory to felony crimes. See, Zambia, what you got to do is get a basketball player that's got some weed on him and we'll trade. That's how this works these days. Oh, now how Mark and Delia brought guns into Zambia and turned themselves into law enforcement agents. Schwaz Suya said. The Owenses have publicly denied they had anything to do with the murder or any other crime, and there is no extradition treaty with Zambia. Many readers have said the themes in Crawdads echoes aspects of Delia's own life in Zambia. Journalist Laura Miller explored this in an article published in Slate in 2019 after the novel's meteoric success. She noted that Kaya, like Delia Owens, was an outcast who preferred the company of animals to people. The jailhouse cat who keeps Kaya company is named Sunday Justice, an African man who once worked for Owens as a cook. Well, that's a little derogatory. In their memoir, Delia Owens recalled Sunday Justice once asking her for what it's like to fly in an airplane. I myself have always wanted to know, madam, if you fly at night, do you go close to the stars? He asked. But Goldberg tracked down Justice, who laughed at the story and said he flew on planes several times as a child and an adult before meeting the Owenses. A black character named Jumpin in the novel is given similarly simplistic and historically inaccurate treatment, Miller wrote. The critic, though, pointed out that most of the autobiographical parts may be Delia Owens' portrayal of the murder as a righteous act in the same way the former couple had justified their extrajudicial and violent anti-poaching operations. Owens' story appears to be one of love and righteousness run amok, Miller concluded. Yeah, so she's probably involved in this somehow, or her son at least seems to be involved in a murder. And here they are with that illegal gun in Zambia. So yeah, it's amazing the things you learn about people. So she's a racist too? Probably. What surprised me, there's a lot of white savior complex with those environmental people. I think Zambia's kept this open. And it sounds like the one cop is real interested in having him come visit. And I don't blame him. That's something shady going on. Hey, thank you, Retro V Gamer, for that generous donation. Good morning, Jack. Thanks for the show. Thanks for watching, dude. So yeah, that's a thing that's happening out there in the world. Some old lady wanted for a 30-year-old murder. We'll do a couple more here and then wrap it up. It's getting on in the time. All right, remember how we talked about Ricky Martin last time? A lot of crazy shit's going on since then. So, Ricky Martin could face 50 years in prison after new developments arise in domestic dispute. This dude wanted a protective order, and things got weird real fast. Shortly after denying allegations made against him in a domestic violence restraining order that was filed in Puerto Rico, Ricky Martin's accuser has been revealed. After the complaint was made anonymously under Law 34, known as the Domestic Abuse Prevention and Intervention Act, Martin's brother, Eric Martin, revealed the victim as the artist's nephew, Dennis Yadel Sanchez. Now remember, this was a lover's quarrel, and this is Ricky Martin's nephew. Under the allegations made by the 21-year-old nephew, it said that he ended a 7-month relationship with Martin and that the singer did not take it well, according consistently reaching out to him and loitering outside his house. Sanchez added that there was physical and psychological abuse that occurred during the relationship. The legal battle is set to begin July 21st. Under Puerto Rican law, allegations of incest are taken very seriously. If proven guilty, the artist could be sentenced to up to 50 years in prison. Don't have sex with your relatives. It's gross. The allegations against Ricky Martin that led to a protective order are completely false and fabricated, representatives for Martin told People earlier this month. We are very confident that when the true facts come out in this matter, our client Ricky Martin will be fully vindicated. I really hope it's not true because it's fucking gross. On July 4th, Livin' La Vida Loca vocalist vehemently denied the allegations on Twitter with optimism that this would all be resolved. The protection order has been entered against me is based on completely false allegations, so I will respond through the judicial process with the facts and the dignity that characterize me. Because this is an ongoing legal matter, I cannot blah, blah, blah. So he hasn't talked about it any further, but I thought I should give the update because it took that weird turn where it was like just a regular gay lovers quarrel to now it's like incest and lovers stalking each other and weird shit like that. Yeah, definitely not to be confused with Rule 34, Johnny. Holy hell, this got weird, right? I saw there was an update. I'm like, oh, 50 years in prison. That's pretty fucked up. Oh my God, incest. No, he's in Puerto Rico. Apparently they have an Arkansas and Puerto Rico too. What else is he going to say? Hopefully not that he did it. Jesus. Ugh. You all need Jesus. I mean, I thought the corruption in Puerto Rico was bad enough. Now they're fucking each other's cousins and shit. But speaking of weird shit and sex, remember that show Scrubs that Monkey's always talking about? Scrubs co-executive producer Eric Weinberg is arrested on multiple sex assault charges after luring him into his house for phony photo shoots from 2012 to 2019. We'll just hit the bullet points because we're kind of on time here. Eric Weinberg allegedly targeted young women in public areas under the guise of being a photographer, offering them work. That's a great way to get chicks naked, by the way. Detectives from the Los Angeles Police Department said the writer would sexually assault the women during such photo shoots at his own house. Don't do that. Don't rape women. Don't touch their no-nos without permission. And if they are given permission, make sure it's all on film and paperwork is signed. Weinberg was arrested at around midday on Thursday in the Los Feliz area of Los Angeles and was charged with several counts of sexual assault, including rape. His total bail is set at $3.225 million. The LAPD said Weinberg's arrest was related to crimes committed in LA between 2012 and 2019. Detectives believe there are additional unidentified victims that could date back to the early 90s. So there you go. There's his mugshot. That's a criminal head shape. Look at that. Mongo brow there. Big forehead. Not a very strong looking chin. Yeah, this dude's shady. The nose looks like it's been broken a few times, probably by boyfriends. Yeah. There he is, younger, less creepy. Super creepy. Less creepy. Super creepy. His ears look like monkey ears, but creepy. Less creepy. Probably still creepy, but serial sexual assault suspect. So yeah, you can't look at Scrubs the same way ever again. Because Apparently, that dude was a little rapey. Looks like Hunter Biden. He kind of does. What is it with guys with wine in their tier name? I don't know, dude. That's a really good question. Make phrenology great again. I'm starting to think there's something actually to it. 3 million. Yeah, that means they probably got some evidence. Did he scrub them first? Good one, James. The overrated Scrub show. I never really liked that show. I like Sarah Chalk. She's hot. But I never got into that show. And I know Monkey hates me for that, but I just never got it. Hey, morning, Angela. All right. Let's see. Save that one for last. All right. Back in comic news. Oop, I'm on the wrong article. That's dumb. IDW still has the Star Trek license, so they're introducing a new Starship flagship comic series. IDW will launch a new flagship Star Trek comic series that will draw together characters from all different eras of the show and all corners of the universe to unite them in a single mission to prevent the murder of the gods. The series will be written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, who do really good Star Trek books most of the time. The creative team behind Star Trek Year 5, with art by Star Wars and Ant-Man artist Ramon Rosanes. He's okay. The first issue will be available in October with 8 variant covers by an array of artists that I don't care about. IDW's Star Trek number 400, an anthology issue due out in September, will include a prelude to the new series. Star Trek number 1 opens in Stardate 2378 with Benjamin Sisko aboard the USS Theseus with a crew that hails from every part of the Star Trek multiverse on a mission to stop the murders. We're immeasurably thrilled to launch a new starship with a crew of new and familiar faces heading on a mission that will truly go where no one has gone before. An Avengers-style ongoing crossover that treats Gene Roddenberry's creation as a living universe, said Lansing in a statement accompanying the announcement. The book is where no one can show up, where anyone can show up and anything is possible. So, new Star Trek book. The uniforms don't look too bad. I'm kind of interested to see where they go with this, so I'll probably pick up issue 1. Like I said, the Lansing and Kelly usually do pretty good Star Trek stuff. They will fuck it up probably, but I'll give it a chance. Scrubs is dumb and Sarah Chalk is hot. Yes, exactly, Johnny. I would fast forward through the annoying guys talking because Sarah Chalk parts were fun and she's smoking hot. Another news that is shameless cash grab. DC plans Death of Superman 30th Anniversary Special. 4 new stories by original creative teams. DC will celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Death of Superman event with a one-shot collecting 4 new stories by original creators, each reflecting on a different aspect of the story. In addition, DC plans a deluxe edition of the original crossover event and a special new printing of Superman 75, the comic that included Superman's fatal battle with Doomsday. Death of Superman 30th Anniversary Special will contain 4 stories. The Life of Superman by writer and artist Dan Jurgens, art by Brett Breeding. Why would you even mention that Dan Jurgens is an artist if you're not going to have him doing the art? Standing Guard by Roger Stern with Butch Geiss. Time by Louise Simonson with art by John Bogdanov. Above and Beyond by writer Jerry Ordway with pencils by Tom Grummett. I hate anthology books because they tend to be garbage. This is 80 pages, though. They'll go on sale November 8th with the price of $11. We'll have a main cover by Jurgens and Breeding, an open order variant by Jim Lee and Scott Williams, John Kent variant. Why would you have John Kent on there? He wasn't even thought of back then. Anyway, a bunch of variant covers that I don't give a shit about because it's a cash grab. Also in the works is Death of Superman 30th Anniversary Deluxe Edition, which collects the entire crossover, including Superman 73 through 75, Adventures of Superman 496 through 97, Justice League of America 69, Action Comics 683 and 84, Superman Man of Steel 17 and 19, News Time, The Life and Death of Superman #1, and a bonus story, Superman Day of Doom 1 through 4. the first time the story has been included in the collection. 328-page hardcover will have a direct market retail price of $40, which is a shockingly low price. Superman 75 Special Edition is a new edition of the original comic. It's 32 pages, includes interviews. Will be $3.99. I'm surprised that's not polybagged with a reprint of like the stamps and the armband and the trading card. That would have been a better idea, but whatever. So there you go. They're going to do a little shameless cash grab with 4 new short stories by writers that you cared about and artists that are like, meh. But it's just an anthology, so it's probably going to be shit. Yeah, I don't know, Oki. If you already have it, no point to this. Last decent Star Trek was Mirror War. Yeah, Mirror War is pretty good. I haven't read issue 7 yet, but I've been liking it. Sarah Chalk has those crazy eyes, or she just coked up. She's got crazy eyes, but that's kind of what's hot about her. I'm not even normally into blondes, but I always found her hot. They should have kept her on Roseanne and got rid of the ugly girl that was playing the oldest daughter, because that kid was weird looking. Meanwhile, Dynamite now has the Kong license, so they're going to produce King Kong of Skull Island comics and games. Dynamite Entertainment will work with DeVito Artworks and Joe DeVito, author of the illustrated novel King Kong of Skull Island, to create both comics and games based on that property. King Kong has been a passion of mine since I first saw the 1933 classic back in 1960, DeVito said in a statement accompanying the announcement. DeVito Artworks has worked exclusively in concert with Marion C. Cooper Estate in creating King Kong of Skull Island to delve into all things King Kong and Skull Island. Now is the perfect time to partner again with Nick and expand still further on another fabulous Kong adventure in comic books and game. Exciting times ahead. King Kong of Skull Island, which was originally published by Dark Horse Comics as part of its illustrated novel program. Boom Studios later published a 6-issue miniseries based on the novel, and now it's over at Boom, or over at Dynamite. So this could be really fun. There's a lot of potential with King Kong because giant monkey fights. You know, who doesn't love King Kong? So there's that. But I have to maintain that the best Kong comic book I've read was Kong on the Planet of the Apes. That was freaking fun. I still love that book. I got that from my brother when he was first in the hospital. And he really liked it, he said. Because we grew up with King Kong, and he was a huge Planet of the Apes fan as a kid. So I got him the trade paperback of it, the collected, and he liked it. I was really surprised by how much I liked it. Was he their god? Yeah, they kind of did that, actually. See, they found a dead Kong washed up on the Forbidden Zone where nobody's supposed to be. And that they also found the spaceship at the same time that they used in the last movie. Anyway, they find the dead Kong, and they go to find out where it came from. So they build this big raft and go out that way. And they end up on Skull Island, and they find another Kong. So they capture it and bring it back to the Ape City. And they end up with like political machinations. Things go horribly wrong. And it's got the most fitting end possible, and it ties in with the movies really well. It was a shockingly good story. I don't want to ruin too much because I actually hope people read that one. All right, now let's do the weirdest story of the day, which is only tangentially related to what we generally cover here, but I tend to go out of bounds a lot. According to ABC 7, NorCal sheriff orders raid on Indiana Batmobile garage, allegedly as a favor to a friend. That's right. A California sheriff went to Indiana to serve a search warrant. Holy political favors, Batman. That's the allegation against San Mateo County Sheriff Carlos Bolanos for sending a 4-man team across the country last week to raid the garage that builds Batmobiles. Turns out one of the sheriff's friends ordered a Batmobile and wasn't happy with how long it's taking. Your public money paid for the trip last week by the sheriff's investigators, 4 round-trip plane tickets, 3 nights of hotels, meals, rental cars, and a lot of overtime. Sam something posted a profile video on his social media saying real estate is a lot like surfing. He's a real estate agent who lives in Atherton. Suddenly, the perfect wave shows up right in front of you. You got to be ready to catch it. This profile video shows Sam likes expensive toys. He ordered a $210,000 Batmobile from the only builder licensed by DC Comics, Fiberglass Freaks of Logansport, Indiana. We are on an Indiana theme today. It's like the 4th story that had Indiana in it. Spokesmodel, because remember, Stranger Things takes place in Indiana. Spokesmodel for the promotional video says, "You wanted one since you were a kid. You can now have one of your very own Batmobile." I totally want one. The 60s one? Yeah, hell yeah. Complete with roll-top dashboard, flashing beacon light, and detectoscope. The spokesmodel adds and even a working flamethrower. Poof. The video's in here too. Owner Mark Rakop has 9 Batmobiles in production. He tells us Sam was first in line but missed the $20,000 payment, and then he disappeared for over 8 months, almost 9 months. Rakop moved Sam to the bottom of the list. He had to wait a year and a half or 2 for his Batmobile. Rakop says he didn't like that. He exploded. He did pay off the entire car at that point, but he was absolutely livid to find out that his car was going to be delayed. Don't miss payments then, asshole. Sam filed a complaint with Atherton Police, but last September, the San Mateo County District Attorney declined to bring any criminal charges at the time, according to a letter to the Batmobile builder. You missed the payment, dude. This is not a criminal problem. You didn't pay. So yeah, they're going to move you to the bottom of the list. This is at best a civil issue. Sam also filed a lawsuit in San Mateo Superior County Court alleging breach of contract and fraud. But this past March, a judge dismissed the case, saying Indiana is the proper venue. Then sources inside the San Mateo County Sheriff's Department tell I-Team's Dan Noyes that the retailer asked his Facebook friend, Sheriff Carlos Bolones, to intervene. He sent a lieutenant, sergeant, and 2 deputies to Indiana. They raided the Fiberglass Freaks last week, July 19th. Mark Rakop tells us, then they showed the warrant saying that they were here to seize anything to do with his car. So I thought, oh, they're coming to pick up his car, which is right behind me, by the way. I thought I was going to have to move my other Batmobiles out of the way to be able to let them to take this car. But investigators only took 2 files of documents according to the search warrant return. Rakop says they read his Miranda rights, brought him to the local jail for an hour, but then let him go because they had no legal ability to arrest him. He only later found out they got a warrant for his Gmail contacts and photos, that they froze his bank account and charged him in California with 2 felonies, obtaining money by false pretenses and diversion of construction funds. Diversion of construction funds? Fucking really? I was horrified. I've never gone through anything like this ever before in my life. I'm on the side of good. As a Batman fan since I was 2 years old, this was completely the opposite side. I love 66 Batman, and Batman always stood with the law. We interviewed the San Mateo County Deputy District Attorney prosecuting this case, Dan Noyes. You wrote a letter to Rakop in September of last year saying that there would be no criminal charges. What changed? Marie McLaughlin, I can't fucking read, San Mateo County District Attorney, Deputy District Attorney. Additional investigation, the detectives were able to obtain search warrants and obtain additional evidence. It sounds like they did an end run around the law and abused their authority in order to try and get some documents. And these people should all be in fucking jail. McLaughlin would not discuss the additional evidence because they probably don't have any, or the sheriff's unusual steps of sending 4 investigators across the country for what Rakop argues is a simple business dispute. This is a civil case. The fact that they had this phony warrant, the locals should have executed that warrant. Not these assholes. They have no jurisdiction in Indiana. Noyes, after the case went nowhere with the first criminal case, the civil case, is the sheriff stepping in for a friend here? McLaughlin, I can't speak to that. I have no knowledge about what relationship, if any, the sheriff has with the victim. We wanted to talk to Sheriff Bolenas about Sam and about the use of public funds, the plane tickets, etc. He didn't return or repeated calls and texts to his personal cell phone. His office confirmed he's away for a month on vacation. That's convenient. He leaves office in January after losing the election. No suspicious stuff here. The undersheriff now in charge, Mark Robbins, and the department spokesman, Lieutenant Iman Allen, refused our request for an interview, citing the ongoing investigation. We ran the case by Tony Brass, former prosecutor for San Francisco and the U.S. Attorney's Office. He told us, I just can't imagine why it's in criminal court. It shocks me that it's in criminal court. Yeah, it shocks me too. This is abuse of power. He says the squabble over a luxury item, the Batmobile, belongs in Indiana civil court with no involvement by the San Mateo County Sheriff's Department. It simply defies reason, in my view, why so many people, so many high-ranking members of law enforcement would have to go and enforce something so unnecessary and so trivial. Dan Noyes did reach Sam by phone in Greece, where he's on vacation. He was surprised when we asked about the Batmobile. He said, I'm dealing with someone privately on that. Noyes asked him, who's that? And he just hung up. Investigating the story, we learned something more about Rakop. He's a minister. We watched his church sermon on this past Sunday online. Rakop tells us, it's the only thing that helps me through this, Dan. I should expect trials and tribulations as part of being a Christian and a preacher, you know? This is an attempt to preserve my reputation. It's absolutely that. They're railroading this guy, and it's bullshit. We reached his lawyer, the lawyer for Sam. He also didn't want to go on camera, but he said his client is returning from Greece in a few days, and both of them will sit down for an interview. Rakop tells us he's flying here for his first court appearance in 3 weeks. This guy should not have to be going to fucking San Mateo over a fucking civil action that this asshole missed a payment for. This is such an abuse of power. And I hope he sues all of these people, because this is ridiculous that it's even gotten this far. I hope the judge throws this out with prejudice immediately. This is ridiculous. The locals should have arrested them for false arrest. Absolutely, Sean. This is bullshit of the highest order. Total abuse of power. Oh, yeah, the California is notorious for circling the wagons. So they'll protect these cops and these lawyers, probably the judges. It's sickening. It really is. And if this, keep an eye out if this preacher gets a GoFundMe, I would highly recommend donating to it, because this is abhorrent. This is totally un-American Stasi nonsense. Bunch of jackbooted thugs trying to go and recover what? He was still working on the car. He didn't say you're not getting it. He was going to give him the car. So they go in and kick down his door and arrest him, and now they're going to throw some felonies at him? Fuck you, assholes. Anyway, save that for last because I knew I was going to get mad at it. So that's bullshit. I hope this guy wins his cases and he sues these people for wrongful prosecution and abuse of authority. It's disgusting to see people do that. There are some people that shouldn't be cops. Oh, Angela, it's not your fault. Anyway, that's all I had today. It was a depressing stream that seemed to revolve heavily on Indiana. So I got nothing. But thank you all for the donations. Thank you for coming out. I really do appreciate it. I love doing these streams. And I hope you enjoy watching them. But I hope you do something exciting today. The day is still young. For me, it's very late. And I'm going to go to bed. But I hope you all have an exciting day and do something fun. And go play some kittens or puppies or something. And you guys have a lovely evening. And hopefully we will see you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody.